people? You are live and direct on Petty Sports, the podcast brought to you by Kingz Broadcasting Studios. It's your boy, the host, Mr. Famous Feez. They call me Facts. It's another great Wednesday night. Man, Adam, holla at him.
Man, it's another fantastic Wednesday night. I'm still not over that dope-ass intro, man. Rolling on through, and I know we starting off with something crazy tonight. The lineup is going insane, crazy segments, dude. It's Wednesday for real. Out in the ATL, man. Everybody turn up in the chat room, call into the show if you like. Feez, kick us off with the slate tonight, man.
Yes, sir. Make sure you hit us up on the Petty line at 678-871-9602. Man, the lineup is crazy. Y'all all know we're going to talk about the NFL schedule release, well, what's left of it, because a lot of it's been leaked already. We got to talk about that guy, Timothy Tebow. We're going to start off the show talking about him. But we going back to the NBA. I know some folks been like, man, y'all ain't talk about no basketball for like 2 weeks. We were supposed to. We ain't make it. We got some heavy basketball content for you, and we got some boxing on deck. Got to talk a little Canelo and Saunders with old Billy Joe. We got Floyd Money and Jake Paul, Logan Paul, all the Pauls. I don't even know which one he's fighting.
Yeah, you ain't lying. You ain't lying.
One of them, he's fighting them. So, man, as always, get your popcorn ready. Pour your drink up. Get you a good stick. I got a nice one here, courtesy of my sister. She brought me one back from Jamaica, so I'm going to spark this bad boy up when I stop running my mouth.
You might not get to light it then, man. The show is lit. I'll tell you, the show is lit. You might not get to light that thing tonight.
You get carried away sometimes. I should be able to light it. Yeah! It's all good, man. So, yo, we're going to kick this thing off. It's like I told you, we starting the show off top of the hour. Tim Tebow.
That's how we warming up.
Is reportedly in talks to sign with the Jacksonville Jaguars via his former head coach, Urban Meyer. Do you love this move or do you hate it?
I'm not going to come out and say I'm loving the move, but I do respect the opportunity that Tim Tebow is going to take to try to chase this opportunity again. And we've seen his career, you know, from football to obviously going to baseball, dabbling back and forth, being in the booth. He's written books. He's a business owner. He's got his own foundation. And, you know, when you look at what everything that Tim Tebow's been through in his career, a move like this doesn't necessarily surprise you, because when the guy played baseball in 2005 and then tried to do it again in 2016, it's like, okay, he likes to take these gaps and leap back into it. But more than anything, like I said, the fact that he's taken the opportunity and the fact that he's staying committed, the fact that he's going to stay passionate in what he truly wants to do and chase this spot. And a lot of people out here saying, oh, he can't get over the fame. He just wants to continually be at the spotlight. And I highly disagree with that, because I'm not going to sit here and say that Tim Tebow needs sports. He wants sports. Like I said, the guy's written 5 books. He's a 4-time bestseller. Obviously, you know, New York Times bestseller. He owns a business. He's got a foundation. He's a public speaker. Like, he's much more than sports. He helps produce films. He's been in the, in the film room, obviously, like with ESPN on college football, whatever the case may be. And like, we know Tim Tebow is a jack of all trades. And I understand, you know, a lot of people are out there saying this is tough for people that are trying to get a roster spot, and you're bringing a guy back, you know, from 9 years. And it's like, wow. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Urban Meyer isn't a big reason why he's going to get this shot. But at the end of the day, if he still did work out, because let's also put this into perspective. Do you think Urban Meyer, with the reputation that he has, just taking the #1 overall pick in Trevor Lawrence, the end-all be-all in the NFL draft, the craziest draft we've seen in the last, I don't know how many years, especially when it comes to quarterbacks, a guy like T-Law in the room, as much cap space as he did, I don't think he would go and sign a bonehead player. Like, yes, I know Tebow wasn't successful in the NFL at quarterback, and this guy's not a tight end. He's not used to having hands put on him. But, people are acting like Tebow's already got the job. Like, he's the tight end one. He's going to be out there trying to, like, fight for these fantasy points. Like, no. It actually, if you quote it, Urban says, we'll give it a shot. Literally, like, we'll give it a shot. He's still got to make the roster. They still have to come to terms on a deal. Like, Urban has been saying, yeah, this is just something that we're exploring. So I'm not going to say I love the move, but I definitely respect it. I think Tebow deserves his respect for being able to go now. And yeah, it's okay, bogus. He's playing tight end, but still something he wants to chase, still wants to take the opportunity. So, all right, go for it.
You say it's bogus. He's playing tight end. He's not a quarterback.
Well, there you go.
He's not an NFL quarterback.
No, absolutely.
He's not an NFL player of any position anymore. He never played any other position. So the fact that he's coming in to try to play tight end is laughable.
Right.
It's ridiculous. He shouldn't even be getting a tryout at that spot. Anything that we have tape on is all him playing quarterback, albeit he ran more than he passed because he couldn't throw.
Right.
He didn't play that position.
Yeah.
You can't just walk back in and do that.
Right.
It's not like it's Randy Moss who was running a 4.2 and played wide receiver and decided after 6 years away from the game, he wants to come back. And he's like, hey, I still run a 4.4.
Right.
I just want to get out on the outside and run a go route.
Yeah.
He could probably do that.
Yeah.
You were not a good quarterback, and now you're going to play tight end? Mm-hmm. He's not that big.
You're going to put your hand in the dirt and have someone put hands on you?
Now he's supposed to be blocking people. Like, the dude hasn't taken a regular season snap since December of 2012. Mm-hmm. It's been a long time. I mean, that whole 2011 season, which got all that fanfare, where everyone was like, oh, it's Tebow Mania. Tebow Mania was very similar to Linsanity. You remember the little 10-game stretch?
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, you played against either, like, the Linsanity thing was kind of more so the weak competition. He just so happened to get up there against and not play against any point guards. Tim Tebow's situation, they led the league in rushing, dead last in passing. He was not throwing the football. It was a defense that was stopping people, and they were running the football, eating the clock. I mean, in those 11 games, they went 7-4. Everyone loves to tell you just how they do that. They scored less than 20 points in 8 of them. They were not scoring points.
In 8 of those 11 games?
They were just stopping them. Yes, 8 of those 11 games there were 18 or less. They weren't putting up points at all. It was just them he handed the ball off.
Right.
He was 46%. Like, his completion percentage is god-awful.
So
he's
worse than
averaging
NFL history.
150 yards per game and 1 touchdown. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about he deserves a shot at what? He had his time. He went to the Jets and couldn't even get the third-string position where he's back behind Mark Sanchez and Matt Barkley. Like, are you serious?
Right.
Neither of these dudes would you talk about in any circles of like, oh, these are really good NFL quarterbacks. I mean, Mark Sanchez did have a little bit more success, and he had a lot more sustained time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you couldn't beat out Matt Barkley, I mean, he's younger than you. He's not in the league anymore.
Right.
And he can throw way better than you.
Right.
Like, I don't understand where he gets off with this. I mean, he went to New England in 2013, played 3 preseason games, got cut, went into the booth with the SEC network, did that for about a year and a half.
Yep.
Then he decided, all of a sudden, I had dreams of playing baseball. Mm-hmm. You mentioned 2005. He was a junior in a high school.
Right.
We act like it was, like he played professional baseball earlier or something. Like, no. He played multiple sports in high school, as did most athletes.
Right.
So now that was your dream. Your dream was to be an NFL quarterback, and you weren't good enough to do it. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden your dream is to play in the majors. You weren't good enough to do it.
Right.
So now after your 5-year sputtered out, multiple injury-ridden baseball career, all of a sudden now you want to come back to the NFL and to play a different position? Mm-hmm. They told you to play tight end before you left.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you got the humility to do it. If he had tried then, he'd have still been in NFL shape. You haven't played NFL football at any level, at least for 6 years. I mean, we'll give you 6 because you were with Philadelphia back in 2015, even though he didn't actually make that roster. Mm-hmm. He was just there in the preseason.
Yep.
So 6 years, you haven't you haven't taken a snap, you haven't been hit, you haven't done anything. You think you can just walk back out there with these guys and do that?
Right.
Like, the fact that he's even getting a look and getting all this attention is ridiculous to me.
Well, Tebow's an attention getter. I mean, when you think about all the times that, like, I'll credit Cowherd right here. He said it perfectly. When the numbers fall short, Tebow's one of those people that will make waves, and he'll move it because of what the media put on him. He was in the media a lot his entire career, and his religion played a lot into it. Like, when you literally, if you Google Tim Tebow, one of the first links is about his religion or his Christianity. And another thing I want to address is the same people that are telling him to play tight end and told him 8-9 years ago. So here's the thing. Tebow didn't conform because he didn't believe that was the path for him. So now that he's taking it, now the same people are going to complain. And here's also another thing. Let's not act like player and coach relationships don't play into a lot of the NFL. We just don't hear about it all the time because there's not a guy like Tebow who's got all the media attention around him. You know that when players come in, there's always a player-coach relationship. It ain't got to be no super tight, but obviously, like, if you think about the relationship between a head coach and a quarterback, or with obviously a personnel coach in whatever position it is, they're going to have some rapport. Now, yes, like I said, it's not going to be, potentially Tebow and Meyer rapport. And like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say that that's not going to weigh into some of the decision making. But the thing for me is I've never been a person to take away from someone's opportunity. And that's why I was saying the other day, and I know y'all were grilling me about passion, but this is the point where when your talent starts to fall short. I mean, think about it. When some people get they'll get a big job, and you might hear the CEO or a higher up say, yeah, they might be a C plus, maybe B worker, but they got an A plus attitude, and they got A plus commitment and passion because they come in every day knowing that that's what they want to do. And it throws a lot of people off because, okay, like you said, college, you can only speak of Tebow's greatness in college, nothing really in baseball, nothing in football. And then when he comes back to this, it's like, okay, I mean, it throws you for a loop. So I totally get where you're coming from there.
Yeah, I mean, that whole passion thing, it really grinds my gears. Like, how are we giving him credit for passion? Are we seriously to act here and act like he's the only passionate player that's ever played football? Like, his passion is going to take him over the top.
And see, that's another thing is I'm not saying Tebow's, I'll give you an honest opinion. I don't think he's going to be good at tight end. We've never seen this before. We've seen all the highlights of him running the little out route from the Jets and having the ball go off his helmet. Like, we know what to expect. I will give Tebow, I'll be shocked if he plays half the season. I really will. But like I said, my whole initial argument was, I'm not going to take away from him. I'm not going to take away from what he's tried to do his entire career, because I have a lot of that same personality. Like me being 23 years old, I'm still going in a few different directions. Like, obviously this is my spot, but I'm trying to dabble into real estate. I'm trying to dabble into cryptocurrency. And when you can still have that drive and commitment to want to be multifaceted, Tebow's just in the spotlight. He's been this guy that's made waves. And realistically, I'll go ahead and say it, like, Tebow's situation is not extremely unusual. Like, yes, the quarterback to tight end, yeah. But if we're talking about bouncing around in careers, like, we're going to judge a 35-year-old man because he hasn't made up his mind yet. The dude's still young. You know what I mean? That was my whole point where I was coming from, is everybody want to take away from him. And I'm not like that, because these guys out here at the end of the day, they got to work hard. They're athletes. They have to earn their spot. And that's exactly where I was coming from.
Nobody's saying he can't do multiple things. Like, you named off about 15 different things that he does. Do all of those and not play football.
Why, though? Why can't you just give him the football, too?
I'll listen to him as a broadcaster, but not watch him play. You're not good enough to play at the NFL level. We've seen it.
Friendly petty push-ups bet here.
What is your bet?
I don't know. I want to put something up. I literally just thought of this. Do you think Tebow lasts 6 weeks of the position if he gets the job?
I think he gets hurt.
Think he gets hurt? So if he goes out before 6 weeks, it'll be because of injury?
Yeah, like he's not built for it anymore. 6
Right.
years out, and then you're going to come in and actually be taking a literal punishing?
Right, having hands put on you. So, okay, we'll go to this. You think Tebow loses it because of injury?
Yeah.
I think he loses it because of not performing. There we go. Whatever it happens to, we'll put 20 on it. Not a little light stuff at 10. We had to get warmed up on the show. We'll go with 20. Is that fair?
I mean, I don't think he's making the roster, but if he gets on, just because he's a spectacle.
Maybe that would be the better one. Does he even make the roster? Like, is he even going to show up? So, yeah, like you said, man.
He got his name in the news. You know, he's a borderline attention seeker. He doesn't have all the symptoms of attention-seeking behavior, but he's on the cusp.
I get what you're saying. And like I said, I understand where you're coming from. I just don't think it's a point where, because like I said, Tebow's written books. He's got a business. He's got his foundation. He loves to speak. Like, he's got a hell of a marketing team behind him. You know, that's what I'm saying.
You pumping him out. Somebody's about to go look his books up. Attention-seeking.
Why, though? Why can't you just do the football, too? Oh, man.
It's about to happen.
Well, we got started off hot tonight.
It's ridiculous, man.
Timothy Tebow from the tip top.
I'm all the way against it. No Tebow.
I'm not here for it.
Look at that. Let's see the graphic up there. He did nothing.
I will credit it to him, though. So, look, we see the baseball up there. I actually did go through some of his baseball stats because I was curious. I'm not going to lie. I never watched a guy in baseball. Hit 194, then 220, then up to 231. Then actually was going to have a little bit of a turnaround at 273. Then he fell back down to 163 and announced his retirement. So, I mean, at least he kind of did better in baseball than the NFL, but that's not saying much, you know, considering he never made an MLB team. It was always like AA, AAA, like other leagues, you know. So, but yeah, man.
Well, I mean, I will say this, just because we talked about his 2011 season, I have plenty of gripes with him. That 2011 season, he went 7-4 in his 11 games. He won the one playoff game. Everybody's had the whole rundown, so we don't even need to give all of the extras about that. But then they brought in Peyton Manning.
Yep.
And then he had the most historic season in the history of the NFL scoring-wise. Tim Tebow was driving a Lamborghini like an old woman.
Yep.
Why are you like, get out the fast lane?
Yeah.
He had that thing going 70 miles an hour. Peyton came in there and took it clean over 100.
Oh, yeah.
He had that roster, and he held it back.
Yeah.
So for as much as what anyone can say he did, like, oh, he's a winner, he did this, he held that team back.
Yeah.
It's very
That's why he lost his
similar.
job.
It's very similar if you want to give it a parallel. If we were to talk about Matt Castle, everybody goes back to he took the New England to 11-5.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, you're not taking into context the keys that he was handed. 11-5 to a team that won 18 straight,
Right.
and went to the bowl. You went 11-5 and missed the playoffs. That's an extreme drop off.
Yeah.
And even Matt Castle was better than Tebow as a pro.
Right.
He never actually played in college. He sat all 4 years at USC behind. He was behind Matt Leinart.
Oh, wow. What a name, dude.
Yeah, he was behind Leinart. He might have been behind Palmer in the beginning. I can't remember when he actually came out, but he was definitely behind Matt Leinart. He never played. Came to the NFL, finally got his shot. Went 11-5. Went to Kansas City. Turned around, went 11-5 again. He actually played full seasons and got starting jobs elsewhere. Played for Minnesota, played for the Cowboys. He had a much more fruitful career than Tebow. But I guarantee you, if you start calling out names, you wouldn't think of Matt Castle. But we give Tebow all the love in life. Like, man, miss me with Tebow. Go commentate on the SEC network. College football is your lane. He was great in college football.
Oh, yeah.
Go talk about that.
Some people it's kind of tough for me, but some people are trying to say, like, oh, he's an all-time college QB. Like, yeah, he was good, but I mean, like, come on, guys, you know.
I mean, I wouldn't argue that.
Right.
College QBs, he is an all-time great because the college game is different. You can get away with not throwing.
Right. I think 32 touchdowns was his peak. I mean, if you think about that in college, you guys out here throwing 45, 50. Joe Burrow throwing like what, 55, 60 that one season. So yeah. Dude.
But I'm done with Tebow. He's getting no more. He's got too much airtime already.
Until it's inked, no more discussions.
We're going to shift these gears to the real because I know y'all been waiting on it. It's out. It's been leaked. The rest of it is officially out now. The 2021 NFL schedule is in. Whoever your team is, check your schedule. Look at where you play. Look at when you play. See how bad you're going to lose and how bad I'm going to talk about you when we get on air every week. That's what it is. We see the very first matchup. September the 9th, Thursday night, the Dallas Cowboys are at Tampa Bay, where Tampa Bay becomes the first team to not only play in a home Super Bowl and win a home Super Bowl, they'll now open the next season in the same stadium that they won the Super Bowl in and dropped the banner. I mean, that's a lot. So, I mean, with this Cowboys matchup, Dak Prescott should be back. We see the Tampa Bay Bucks really literally re-sign all 22 starters.
It's unreal.
And a couple of people on the side.
Yeah.
Do you give Dallas any chance of winning this game?
Yeah, I do, because Dak Prescott coming back, like, you know, some people obviously, like, he's primed for the comeback player. It's, again, talking about the media on a guy. The media will probably give Dak Prescott the Comeback Player of the Year award.
One season, so.
But, I mean, when you talk about, you know, him coming back from the injury, you know, missing all that time, Dallas being extremely terrible. Now they came into the draft, had a pretty decent draft. Actually played it cool, got some defense. They got like 90 linebackers for some reason. But, you know, Micah Parsons is going to be there. Amari Cooper still, you know, you've got CeeDee Lamb in his second year. And you really want to see the emergence of Zeke. I think, you know, last year everybody was giving the excuse for Zeke, you know, no line. And I agree. Like, I'm not going to, I mean, you take any line away from a running back. I mean, unless we're talking about all-timers, you know, like Sanders or Emmitt Smith or something, you know, like you're going to have a line to be extremely productive. And so when you look at Zeke, like you want him to have that spark back underneath him. You want him to feel like a dangerous running back, because he never really felt like that last season. You know, like he had his great years where he came in, you know, led the league in rushing 2 out of the 3 or 3 of his first 4. We witnessed the holdout. And if he would have played all the games that one season, he would have led the league in rushing his first 3 or 4 years in the league. So like, there's no question that Ezekiel Elliott is a monster, but I'm ready to see this Cowboys defense. We see Micah Parsons. We see all the people that they brought onto that defense. Now it's time for them to produce. Now it's actually time for them to step up in that secondary, have that front seven, put some pressure on Brady, because I'm convinced right now Tampa Bay might be the best, like all around offense, defense, maybe give special teams to like another team out there. But I mean, you talk about the trenches, the receiving core is deep. We know who the quarterback is. Fournette and Rojo are back. So like, it's going to be a great game. I do give Dallas a chance, but if it was like a 35-21 kind of game, Tampa Bay up top, then it wouldn't be surprising. I mean, Tampa Bay is going to they're just going to be that team, like how it's felt like the Ravens were a couple seasons ago, how the Chiefs were. Like now that they've got the continuity, they're here and they're going to be feared by everybody. So definitely taking Tampa Bay to win that game.
Oh, man, easily taking Tampa Bay, and I don't really feel like Dallas has a legitimate shot to win the game, and it's not because they don't have a good team. They really have made strides to try to fix the defense.
Right.
But it being the very first game of the season, I don't think they're ready. Like, it doesn't matter how many people you bring in. Week 1, you're going into Tampa with a well-oiled machine.
Oh, yeah.
They went through this last year, fixed it, went all the way to the mountaintop, and now they're just tweaking it to make it better. Like, it's going to be an ugly opening matchup. I think Dallas is going to get blown out.
Ooh.
It's not going to be nice. That defense isn't ready.
Yeah.
Brady with this crew is going to come out. Like, they have plenty of time to make even more adjustments to their offense. Like, it's going to be a massacre.
What are you predicting?
I mean, I'm thinking that game is going to be something to the tune of like 38-10.
Whoo. Oh, my God. I was thinking like maybe a 35-14. I was like, okay, is he going to say like a 42-28? Because we know Dallas can give up a lot, but then they like to really be great per se, all these numbers in garbage time. So
yeah, but Tampa Bay has it on both sides of the ball.
Right. No, I
their
agree
front
with
four
you
is
there.
nasty. Their linebacking crew is nasty. Dak Prescott hasn't played in over a year.
Yep.
His first game back, you get that. Did you see what they did to Pat Mahomes? You talk about your O-line is back. Like,
they
man,
made them rebuild that whole line because of that one game. 60 minutes was all it took for the Chiefs. I was like, okay, we got something to fix here.
like, Dak is nowhere near as dynamic as Pat. I mean, Pat made some ridiculous throws and still couldn't get him in there.
Yeah.
If Dak gets beat up like that, they might not put up 10. I mean, 10 points might be disrespectful to Pat Mahomes.
Right.
He couldn't get 10. I don't know why I gave Dak so many.
Right. He got a field goal. He going to get inside of 40 like one time.
38-3. I'm taking a whole touchdown off the board.
Saints Bucks. All right, here we go. I'm cool with it. It ain't going to happen this year. Oh, that will not be the case this year. That's how it feels with the players we lost, man. That is really how it feels with all those guys out of town.
Yeah, man. So we're going to keep this thing rolling with the Thursday night games because that is the first Thursday night game.
Mm-hmm.
So they tried to do a little better. I mean, you know, generally the Thursday night games are ugly.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking here like Panthers,
it's not 100%
Texans.
better, but I mean, we got Rams Seahawks week 5. That's not bad. I mean, I would definitely watch that. Week 6, we got the Bucks at the Eagles. I'll rock with that too. We want to see what Jalen Hurts is doing. Philly should actually be like on the come up.
Right.
I mean, with Devontae, Jalen Reagor back, Jalen Hurts finally gets his he's getting a full season under his belt, the off season.
Right.
It's like, hey, I mean, you got Sanders and Scott. They got a decent little squad there. But it's all contingent upon what Jalen Hurts is able to do. But I'm interested to see what the Eagles look like.
Right.
Especially in a week 1 matchup against the Falcons. But we'll get there. We're still on Thursday nights.
Speaking of the Falcons, there's a Patriots at Falcons week 11. Ravens at Dolphins week 10.
I'll absolutely be at that game. Patriots, Falcons, Thursday night, right here. I'll be at the Benz.
I might have to tag it up with you, man. Cowboys at Saints week 13. Steelers at Vikings maybe could be something in week 14, but I'm not sure about Pittsburgh yet. Like, we still don't know, like, what's the quarterback situation. We saw how they sputtered out last year. Team's got a lot of tape on them now. Niners at Titans week 16. That could be one, but I feel like the Titans just had that one instance. It was like, okay, yeah, we're here, AFC title game, Derrick Henry, and Henry's still going to be that dude, but, you know, I heard the alarm too, man. What time is it?
Oh, yeah. It's 8:24. Y'all know what time it is. Every single Wednesday night, even on our special schedule release night, we still got to recognize the late, great Kobe Bean. Count us down.
3, 2, 1. Kobe! R.I.P., my boy.
Yes, sir.
Dunk, dink, all over him. Man, I missed that. I remember when I first started watching Kobe highlights many, many years ago. And, like, you know, when I first started watching Kobe, I started watching basketball like my freshman year of high school. So probably about like 8, 9 years ago. Yeah. And, you know, Kobe was kind of later in his career because he retired, I want to say, my sophomore year.
2016.
Yep. No, okay, actually, so he retired towards the end of my high school career. But I remember watching him like early on, like, wow, Kobe was this athlete. I mean, because I wasn't alive to watch him at that point. But, you know, seeing all his highlights, like, wow, this dude was crazy athletic early in the days, like posterizing anybody. Obviously, always had to handle. So, all right, pizza one of the GOATs, man.
Absolutely. We'll always pay homage to Kobe. So, man, back to our matchups. Pats Falcons. I'm definitely going to be in the house for that.
Oh yeah, you got to be, man. Is this the first time that Is this the first time playing since the Super Bowl?
No, they played in 2017, the following season.
Oh, okay.
You remember the fog game in Foxborough?
Oh yeah. Well, that crazy Julio ripped the ball at the dude's hands. Yeah, that one. Okay,
he ripped it away from Malcolm Butler.
Yeah.
But they lost that one too, though.
Right. Don't let it be. Don't let it be twisted.
Yeah. I mean, you see, I didn't even take that opportunity to go back in the Super Bowl 51.
We'll just keep it in 17.
We won in 2017.
We still got it there, too. You got to talk to me about a year before.
Yeah, I mean, we like the Falcons.
I think
lost to them in the 21st century.
I think a lot of people do, man. Yeah, I know the Cowboys do, too.
Oh, absolutely, man. So, man, what are we looking like for Monday night? I know this first Monday night game, we've got the Baltimore Ravens at the Las Vegas Raiders.
First game in Allegiant with fans.
It's funny, people like to say that the Raiders play really good at home. Like, the referees are amazing in Las Vegas. They want that stadium to be all the way right.
I'll tell you what it is, bro. Week 3 of last year, a little flashback for everybody. So I was in a Pick'ems league, and it was Saints-Raiders, first game at Allegiant Stadium, Saints on the road. Breeze looked awful. That was like the first game of the season. It was week 2. You're right. It was week 2. And because we had to go back home in week 3 to face the Packers because we started 1-2 for the season. Yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking. But I remember that week, I was 15-0 in Pick'ems, had everything picked right. And, of course, I had my Saints picked for that evening. We go out, stink it up. Everybody's writing about the Raiders. And I was like, don't y'all know that was the Saints defense in week 2? Because now we see the Saints, they finished like 4th in the league in defense, 5th in passing, But I think that one game, first game in Allegiant, like there were no fans there. It was the first time it was ever played in, big victory. I want to say they scored on like 6 or 5 of their last 6 drives of the game. They just went off. But yeah, everybody was super hype about that one. It's like, the Raiders still have a lot of work to do. And I believe in Derek Carr, not to take them far. Like, he's got a lot of raw capability, but he's so inconsistent. Like, he can never just stay that dude. He's never been the same since the injury, too. He start off 9-0, he goes down with the leg, so.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's extremely inconsistent. I mean, I was trying to explain this to everyone when I watched the game. So I was with the Saints fans watching it when y'all played the Raiders. Mm-hmm. And I was like, watch, next week they come to Foxborough, we're going to destroy them.
Right.
We ran them off the field, and we weren't even that good.
Right.
It's just that the Raiders aren't that good.
Right.
That was that first game in that stadium. They were not going to allow them to lose that day.
Yeah.
That's all it was. But I think we might get something similar to that. First game with fans, Baltimore is in trouble.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Brand new stadium, newest stadium in the NFL besides SoFi, right?
They're about to bring a new meaning to the 12s.
Yeah, black hole. Well, no, I think they're trying to steer away from that, aren't they? Like, is it like no more black hole kind of thing? Because, not in Oakland, just Las Vegas.
I don't know. I mean Oakland is a forgotten about city. They're losing all their teams officially.
Yeah. The Golden State's the last hope, man.
No, the Warriors are in San Francisco already.
All right, there you go.
Warriors are in Frisco. The Raiders are in Vegas, and the Oakland A's, I'm hearing, are about to get moved.
Oh, sheesh. They
got no teams.
They got too many teams. Like, I think 6 baseball teams in California. Ridiculous.
No, I don't think they're leaving the state, but they're absolutely leaving Oakland.
Right.
Which, if anyone is watching from Oakland, I know you're going to get all the way deep in your feelings. That city's not big enough to have actual teams of their own. That is a suburb of San Francisco.
Yeah.
Go across the bridge to watch your games.
Yeah.
Which is what they're making you do anyway. They took the Warriors away. You can go watch the 49ers in Santa Clara. And you can go watch the Giants right across that same bridge. You don't need teams there. It's a shame. Who else we got for Monday?
Man, so Mondays, I'm looking here. We got Colts at Ravens. I think that'll be a great one. I'm excited to see how the Colts are going to be this year because I do feel like they've been a quarterback away. Not that Wentz is going to propel them, but obviously you've got some continuity there. You're definitely giving them an upgrade in terms of talent. I mean, line, defense, like healthy players more than anything, Let's see here. We've got Bills at not. See, I'm not high on the Titans, man. A lot of people, I remember last season, people were really putting the Titans in their top 5 for the longest time. I said, have y'all seen their schedule? I said, have y'all seen who they've played? And it was kind of the same thing with the Colts, but obviously the Colts fared out, better than the Titans did. They had a tough first-round matchup in the playoffs. Saints at Seahawks, week 7. That might not be too bad, but I'm really just looking at that, obviously, being a Saints fan, because I really don't know what we're going to be this year. We had, off the top of my head, I'm thinking of 6 key contributors we had leave the team, especially Emmanuel Sanders and Jared Cook. Like, that's why I was so pissed off about getting a wide receiver in the 7th round. Like, really? we're going to go get a guy for, I think it was like Alabama State when we had, Bateman was on the board. We had, I know Terrace Marshall wasn't a first-round pick, but we had a first-round receiver that we could have taken. Rob, did we pick before the Ravens? Because I think the Ravens picked at 27 and they took Bateman. Yeah, so we could have taken Rondale Moore. He ended up being a second-rounder. He was high second-rounder. And as bad as the Saints needed a receiver, all I do is think back to the Michael Thomas year where we had nobody. Drew Brees was in an interview. They said, hey, Drew, they said, the offense is still looking great, but we kind of feel like it's hit a little bit of a stall point. Do y'all think y'all could open it up some more to get the ball to Michael Thomas? And he said, is that possible? I can throw it to him more? Come on, dude. That was the year before the record-setting season. So now here's one I am excited about. Still don't know about the Steelers, but I'll take any bit of Justin Fields I can on weeknight Monday Night Football. Bears at Steelers. That feels like a good rivalry there. You got two fan bases who are extremely deep, extremely emotional. Both just got big players in the draft, especially in the first round. So I'm excited to see Justin Fields this year. He, like Kyler Murray was when he came in, I'm more excited to watch Fields play than I am Lawrence. But, that's just personal love, man, I got for Justin Fields. You got Rams at Niners coming back in week 10. Got another Giants-Bucks game. You remember that Giants-Bucks game last year? Everybody was like, oh, the Bucks, where are they going? I was one of those. I was like, no, not Super Bowl contenders, and they whooped my ass in the playoffs. So I'll remember to talk about Brady again.
That's one of those things. You just have to understand. As Patriot fans, we all knew good and well he wasn't going to blow out the Giants. He's never done it. Even when he beat them, right, it was close.
Yeah, 38-35 in that last game for the undefeated season. Y'all took it down to the wire with them, man.
Even in the recent days that we've played them. The last time we played the NFC South, we beat the Giants on a 60-yard field goal at the end of regulation, and the Giants were terrible.
Right. Yeah,
some teams just have your number.
Right.
And it seemed like it might actually be Brady's number as opposed to the team's number.
Right.
Because he did the same thing to him over there.
Exactly.
But it's funny that you mentioned Pittsburgh because we've got the Peanut Gallery, a.k.a. the chat room. They in there going ham. Talk about 13-4. The Pittsburgh Steelers will not. You couldn't win 13 games when there were 16 of them.
Y'all gonna run Najee into the ground the first 6 weeks?
With the way Pittsburgh plays, they'll win 12. They'll win 12 in a row and lose 5 straight. My bad, you did that last year.
That is facts. That is true.
No, not happening at all. Pittsburgh is definitely going to be below 500. Maybe not far below it, but 8-9.
See,
right on the cusp.
I think they'll be a team only because of Mike Tomlin and the fact that they tried to go out and have a good draft. I think they'll be a team that is maybe a game or two above 500. They're not going to be Super Bowl contender. They're not going to threaten anybody. Like I said, you got Najee Harris over there, but what's up with Big Ben? And people try to say he had a bad season last year. It wasn't bad. It was, I think, average at best. But people were trying to hype it up like it was this, and this. But it's at the end of the day, perfect example. Look at Dak Prescott. All the numbers, oh my God, the touchdowns, touchdown interception ratio, completion percentage, all this. How many games are you winning, though? How many games are you truly winning and taking your team far? Now, I will credit this Monday night schedule here. You get to week 12, Seahawks at Washington, and the rest down the slate is beautiful. Pats at Bills, Rams at Cardinals, Vikings at Bears, Dolphins at Saints, and then Browns at Steelers. So the Steelers are actually going to get... They're going to get 2 primetime games this year. Makes sense, being from Pittsburgh.
Well, it'll probably be more than 2 primetimes, just 2 Monday nights.
Well, 2 Monday nights.
I'm sure they've got some Sunday night games, too.
Right. So the Monday schedule, per usual, looking pretty fair. So I'm looking forward to that Raiders-Chargers matchup as well, because the Chargers last year, I'd said it, and I'll say it again, they were the best team. They were the best worst team last year because they had all that talent, but they had the injuries. Justin Herbert's obviously a baller. You got Keenan Allen. Derwin James is out. Obviously, you've got, Bosa was injured too.
I would argue that might actually have been the Bengals.
Okay, I will give that to you as well because Burrow was going off. He was trying to have a season, and they were giving those teams problems. I remember when the Browns had a shootout with them. I think it was
even when Finley was in, they still looked decent.
Right? Yeah, and now Jamar Chase is. I don't know. I'm still nervous, man. I'm still nervous for Joe.
I have more confidence in the Bengals than I do the Chargers.
Really?
Any team that, it may just be my own personal bias, but the Patriots were bad last year. You beat the Chargers 35-0. You're not that good. I'm not giving you any credit.
Yeah.
There's no reason, no way we should have beat any team like that.
Belichick and them rookie quarterbacks, man, picks them apart.
He didn't do Tua like that.
You're right. You are right. He did not do Tua like that. But we feel for Zach Wilson over there, though. He is going to pick him to pee. It's going to be like vultures on him.
Oh, Zach Wilson has a spotlight. We can push it back up to week 1.
Right.
Very first game of the season.
Yup.
Zach Wilson gets to face the former quarterback, or we say the ex of the Jets.
Yep.
They're playing the Panthers. Sam Darnold, first game of the season. They can actually get to see Sam with some weapons. And I think it could be, well, I won't even say it could be. The Panthers are going to run through the Jets and have them with buyer's remorse.
Oh.
Sam Darnold is better than Zach Wilson, and you get to play him with your first game since you let him go.
Right.
You're playing him.
And he gets to see that new, freshly restocked team. Look at all my shiny toys. Look how we tried to step it up after you got out of here. Yeah. I don't think it'll be a blowout. I really think it could go down to the wire just because we're going to be seeing such a battle of personalities. Obviously, I almost said Matt Moore. Matt Rule, still pretty new for the Panthers. Obviously, Robert Saleh. So, like, I'd say that's a pretty even standoff there if we're talking about, like, you see what the Panthers were. Obviously, like, the Jets have some talent, but they're not going to be anything to threaten anybody. So
this is year 1 for Saleh, though. Matt Rule,
right.
Historically, every school he's gone to, which I say school because this is his first time in the NFL, but every school he went to, in year 2, he's completely turned it around. Year 1 was kind of like, all right, we got to feel this thing out, really instill the program.
Mm-hmm.
He's every place he's been. Year 2, it's like there's been a complete 180.
Yeah.
I got more faith in him turning that around because, for one, he's got better players.
Yeah.
He's just got a better franchise. Saleh's working with a bunch of nothing and people that are used to. They're used to losing.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Well, let's just call it how it is. A spade's a spade.
Yeah. And Zach Wilson is also used to losing to real football teams.
Yeah. We've seen him choke up in big moments.
Anytime he plays against real football players, he loses.
How do you not take Justin Fields at number 2? I mean, I'm happy for Justin Fields, as upset as he might have looked when the Bears called him, but, like, come on, man. At least try to make something out of him.
Should have been number 2, but they did you a favor.
Yeah, they really did do
major favor.
Yeah. I say, hey, we'll give you a whole nother career. Go to Chicago. Still tough up there, but this is a little bit better. Because there's another thing, too, thinking about Justin Fields going, now you got to give Nagy and Pace at least one more chance because they've got Justin Fields in the building. Obviously, he's a surging superstar. Like, he's QB2 in this draft. There's no question. Everybody was trying to pop it back and forth. And here's another thing, too, talking about Justin Fields. I know I'm kind of, bumping along with him, but he took the mental aptitude test. Out of 6,500-plus players, scored first overall with a score of 130. Just for perspective, I know a lot of people saw the reports. Mahomes was a 110. So all this about off-field judgments and questioning his character and is he really a hard worker? Like, you hear reports of Nagy saying, hey, like, spit this formation back to me. Boom. Verbatim, like the back of my hand. Like, it was nothing, So I think I'm okay with Justin Fields being quiet for right now because he knows there's work that's got to be done. He's just going to let the numbers speak. The first thing was a mental aptitude test, so we'll see where it goes from here, man. Got my eyes on Justin Fields heavy this season, dude.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think his first game will actually be in week 2. I don't know if they're going to actually unleash him because they play the Rams week 1.
Yeah, number 1 defense.
I don't know if they want that to be his very first game.
Aaron Donald's going to be like another rookie quarterback. I remember what happened with Tua. He took Tua out. I was like, oh, here we go. I was like,
that could be a confidence killer. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him until week 2.
Yeah, you could be right. You could be right there, man. Andy Dalton, how the hell did he get the name the Red Rifle?
It's because he's a redhead. It flowed, really.
Like,
it was literally his hair.
Right, yeah. Like, we know he had some wins in Cincinnati, but, I mean, let's not, like...
It was either going to be Red Rifle or some sort of variation of Carrot Top, and that would have been really ridiculous. So that's what they went with it.
Yeah, agreed.
He actually wasn't bad, though.
Right. Yeah, he led the Bengals to some reputable seasons.
He fell off a cliff, but he wasn't bad when he was actually, like... they made the playoffs, like, 5 times.
Mm-hmm. Might have been like early exits, but they got in there.
They didn't win any of them,
right?
But they were making it.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, I can't all the way hate on him.
Yeah,
but he sucks now.
You ain't lying about that.
So, man, we gonna let Mike Beasley pay these bills for us one time. But when we come back off of this brief commercial break, we got the first edition of Petty Feud.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Famous Facts Feez. This is Mike Bell, baby. Thank you for joining and tuning in tonight to Petty Sports Wednesday Night Edition. Like always, every Wednesday, 8 o'clock, right here on Kingz Broadcasting. You can tune in to these guys, Famous Facts Feez and Brother Adam Lewis. They go in, you know the routine, like always. Man, share the show. do us a big favor. Help us go viral. Help us go digital. Everybody that has shared the show up to now, thank you so much. Everybody that's participating in the chat room, thank you so much. We see you out there. Jamila, Wesley, you know what I'm saying, and everybody else on the other pages. I can't see you right now. But call in. 678-871-9602. 678-871-9602. That's how you can be a part of the show tonight. Go check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. You can catch some of the past shows, Petty Sports right there. You know what I'm saying? At your convenience when you're riding in your cars or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Hopefully Petty Sports is one of them. So just go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. Type in Petty Sports. That's with a Z. Petty Sports with a Z. And tune in. And tonight's show will be available tomorrow. So check us out, man. Go to kingsbroadcasting.com. Spend some money with your boys. You know what I mean? Support black business. Support black business. Support black businesses, because we do. We got the T-shirts, the hoodies, the tumblers, the mugs. We got a whole lot of gifts over there that you can pass along to some friends, neighbors, family members, and help them support what we do here. And if you like what we do, spend some money. Hit that donate button at the bottom of the kingsbroadcasting.com page. No donation is too big. No donation is too small. We love it all. You know what I mean? So big shouts out to Petty Man. Always doing what he do over here in the studio, making it all work and pulling it together. And ATL, ho, back to the regular scheduled program.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just like I told you, we coming back. We give you a first edition of Petty Feud. Last week we gave you Jeopardy. Now we moving along.
We graduating.
Oh, yeah. Every week we come with something. So, man, what we're going to do with Petty Feud, we're going to give you 3 rounds, and we'll have a little fun with it. And my first and only contestant along with me here is Adam Lewis.
Your boy.
Give him a round of applause.
Can I get some clapping, please? I got no audience.
I know he got that button on the board over there. He ain't even give you no clap.
There we go. I'll get some cheers. Hey, that's fair enough. It's like me walking from the back. I got a tight blazer on. Just got the shoes. You know what I'm saying? Just got them clean, man. I'm behind a little desk, so we're good. We're out here. Let's get it going.
Yes, sir. We're going to give you 3 rounds. We're just going to come jump in right off the blocks. Can I get a little theme music, please? Yes, sir.
Oh. Hey, it's real, y'all. The Petty Feud is live, lit, and established. First question on the board in the Petty Feud. Man, I'm ready for this tonight. This is going to be fun.
Yes,
Jeopardy
sir.
was a blast. Shout out Mike Bell for giving us the big compliment, pushing for this segment, us putting it together. Appreciate y'all helping us out. So, Feez, and everybody, feel free. Hey, if y'all want to call in and play Jeopardy with us, if you want to hop in the chat room, give an answer.
Petty Feud.
If we don't know, you're right. Excuse me. If you want to hop in and play Petty Feud with us, if we don't know an answer, maybe we might be able to read your comment out, put it on the board, help us out so we don't fail out of the question. But the first one is, what NBA player is most likely to disappear in the playoffs? Feez, go for an answer first, man. There's a lot of them. You know, there's plenty of them out there.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? I got the best answer. LeBron James.
Oh, boy. Give us a roll.
Judges.
Uh-oh. We'll see. Uh-oh. Nope. Roll us out.
Oh. See, they played me. He flipped it, and it ain't had a name up there.
Right, so it's like it's
I was about to celebrate.
No, you go, man. You good. We're going to act like that one's not there. But since we did see Pandemic P, Playoff P, whoever they like to call him, it's funny. You look at his numbers, like, still scores the same, 20 and 20 from, regular season to post, 6.4 rebounds to 7.2. So a slight uptick. Same thing with the assists. And he really just shoots a little below his overall percentage and a little bit, below 3-point percentage as well, but still consistently being on these teams, like, supposed to be your number 2 guy. We saw how he really showed up short with the Clippers last year. He's seen it with the Thunder. I mean, maybe a little bit with the Pacers, but it was never enough to really surge a team, and he gets so much talk, Paul George is a top player in this league, and like he can be. But I said it when the bubble was going on last year. He doesn't have what it takes to propel a team. I personally don't think he does. And if that is or isn't because of the injury, so be it. Like he's still not out there performing on the court. Like I said, there's no doubt he can be a top player, but it's very few and far between. So
only time he ever showed it in the playoffs was when he was with the Pacers.
Yep. Like I said, very, very short amount of time. So we got the number one answer on there. I'll take a guess now. An NBA player that disappears into playoffs.
4 answers left.
I know. I'm going to go and say... I'm going to say Blake Griffin because he was a top player at one point for the Clippers. Like when the Clippers got in there, he was never able to show up. I mean, kind of Chris Paul too, some Caron Butler, like, you know, maybe DJ, but Blake Griffin being a top player at one point, yeah. I'm going to say Blake Griffin. Yeah.
No way he's up there. No way.
Yeah, definitely not. There's my second X. He's going to be blasting me with the sound here. Absolutely not. They're going to be up there the whole time. All right, Feez, we got to get some saviors, man. We got two straight. We got to roll these next 4 if we want to even survive in the first round. Chat room, help us out if you got to.
I'm gonna keep this thing with your Clippers roll because you know I'm not a fan.
Right.
CP3, he's got to be up there.
Yeah.
That man has never been to the finals, gets way too much credit for everything. And you know this is a Westbrook-sponsored rant. I don't like him. CP3, give me CP. Give me some sound. Give me some sound. Give me that better not be my third X. We can't lose on round 1.
Yeah, we about to blast out in round 1, man, potentially.
What the hell? Damn, dude.
No, you're good, man.
Oh.
No, you're good. I think either way.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know. I got you. I got you. You're good. You're good. So we will take another guess here because obviously a guy always wants to whistle in the playoffs. We've seen it with the Rockets. I'm kind of curious what's going to happen with the Nets. James Harden. Got to be James Harden up there. This will be our first actual ping for a win of the match. There we go. There we go. That is the correct answer. So you know we got James Harden up there.
All right, we moving. Since he in the Eastern Conference, I'm gonna keep you East this time.
Yeah.
The 2-time defending MVP, still never been to the NBA Finals,
Blows
gets
my
shut
mind.
down every year in the Eastern Conference Finals, which I don't even think he made it that far last year.
Right.
I'm pretty sure he didn't make it that far. But yeah, Miami gave him work. Toronto gave him work. Don't know who it's going to be this year, but he's going to get work. Giannis, the Greek freak. Give me Giannis.
Antetokounmpo.
Let's go. Keep us alive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're not going to
Yes,
cash out in
sir.
the first round. We are not cashing out in the first round here. Feez, we on the knowledge, man. It's not going to happen. We know it is not going to happen. Another player now. Some people kind of go back and forth with this, but we know the problems roll around in the postseason. The numbers might be there when he's actually able to be on the court, but Anthony Davis sometimes with the injuries. I think AD could be one that could definitely show up for us. Anthony Davis for the number 4 answer.
Give him the injury run.
Right, injury run. AD. There we go. AD.
He's
All
going
right.
to literally disappear.
Yeah. Man.
Stay hurt.
Someone asked me today, they said, do you really think the Lakers could actually make a run? I said, I'm concerned about the chemistry. Like, I really am. Like, of course, they have the talent and they have the leadership and the coaching to make the run. It's just if they're going to be available. You know, it's like the Clippers, if the chemistry was available. Same thing kind of with the Nets, if the chemistry is going to be available.
They're the only team where you literally are saying, can they make the run? Like, are they going to be able to run?
Right. Literally, can they actually move?
Can't do it.
Right. Can they actually move throughout?
Yep.
We got one answer left, bro.
Bring us home. I want CP3 for 500. We ain't losing.
We mixing the feud and the
Give me the
Jeopardy.
little guy.
Who's actually in MVP contention this year, too. Actually, some people are saying he could maybe be like 4th.
Yes,
There we
sir.
go.
There we go.
Chris Paul. There we go. Some people are saying he could potentially be like 4th in the voting because, like, you look at the Suns. What a surprising team. Like, 34 wins all of last year. Now they're pushing up on 50. Second best record in the NBA. Like, they're rolling right along. So I'm happy CP3 is finally... He's not disrespected, but he's definitely held short, but it's fair. And so now it's good. Okay, like he's got some, he's got some miles on the tires, but now he's starting to kick a team up. And Devin Booker, young guy. DeAndre Ayton, young guy. So we'll see what happens with the Suns, man. But this next question, because
Man,
we
I'm
love...
glad we won a round.
Right, man. We started off rough, dude. We started off rough. But now we wiping the board. On to the next one. We're really about to start tugging at some strings here. If you're a fan of maybe these teams, we might need to go if they're up on the board, man, because
they might not like it.
Yeah.
All right, you want me to throw it at you?
Yeah, man. Well, I'll take a gander at this one.
We polled 100 people from Petty Nation, and the top 4 answers are on the board. The worst loss in Super Bowl history was.
All right, I'm gonna go Homer pick, just because the Saints should not have won, but I believe that they would because I knew they were going to. Give me the Saints at the Colts. Some people think that was rigged. Peyton Manning with the interception. Apparently, he looked visibly upset before the game. No, the Saints came out and won. Katrina was a few years before that. Give me that up there.
Judges?
I'm going to do all this talking.
Bounty Gate?
You did not just do me like that. It's a Bounty Gate? No players. No Brett Favre. Yeah, okay, man. So we got to get the next round, we're going to nail all of them in the next round. Like, boom, 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 right off the bat. But, Feez, what would be one that you think would be the worst loss in Super Bowl history?
I promised y'all I wouldn't do this to y'all, but I have to just because we're playing the game. It has to be 28-3. You see my helmet up there. It's sitting right next to a Falcons helmet. It's a Falcons and a Patriot helmet on the table.
Boy.
Give me Super Bowl 51, 28-3 for number 1, baby. Let's go. The suspense. The suspense. They're killing me.
Oh, we got a double. Look at that. 2 New Englands.
Oh.
But that one is fair. That one is absolutely fair. Super Bowl 4. We got a little double trouble. They gave you the 1 and the 3, man.
I got a 2 for 1 on that.
Right. Hey, we'll take it, though. Should have ran. Marshawn Lynch. I thought I was getting the ball. I thought he was too, man.
Malcolm Butler.
Back-to-back Super Bowls. When that play happened too, I felt bad for Seahawks fans. Yes, you didn't run it, but that play was so bang-bang. Like, I was waiting for the flag and it didn't come out. I was like, okay, probably because it's towards the end of the Super Bowl. They get real strict in the NFL, like, let's play. But I feel like there was that little bit of contact on, from Malcolm Butler right before that ball got there. But whatever, it happened.
That's legal.
A little bit of contact, though? Like to completely hit someone for the ball gets there? That's pass interference.
No, not when you're playing the ball.
Well, it was still too early for me. I didn't like it, especially seeing how it was in the Super Bowl. I know there were a lot of pissed off Seahawks fans. Like, we're going to totally deny the fact that we didn't run the football. We're going to stay caught up on that. I remember watching that.
They were on the 1 yard line.
Right.
So clearly he was still in the bump zone.
I remember. You know what? You are right about that because when you're inside a certain yard line, because I think that's where, like, isn't that one of the only places where, like, they're a lot more lenient about picks?
Inside of 5 yards, you can still actually touch the receiver. But when you're going for the ball, he could have done that if it was a 50-yard bomb.
Yeah. Okay. Look, you learn something every day about the rules, man. I'm getting educated over here in the middle of petty feud.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So Feez got the 2 for 1. And so we're going to guess another one up here.
Patriot way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They gave you both of them right off the board, man. So.
The judges like me.
Oh, yeah. A bad Super Bowl loss.
Yep, I see them in here playing in the chat, too.
What they saying?
We got 49ers. It says just one of the 49ers Super Bowls where they blew someone out. Yeah, you're probably talking about when they destroyed the Chargers in 94.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sheesh. I was about to say, he's going to say 49ers Ravens.
No.
Remember that one.
They didn't blow them out. That was the lights off game.
Yeah.
When the 49ers actually have multiple Super Bowls where they destroy people, but that was the most recent where that happened, which was the last one that they won, was in 94.
Okay.
They beat the brakes off the Chargers.
Whew. What was the score?
Oh, I don't remember.
Embarrassing enough to not be that impactful. Yeah. All right, so the next one. I feel like I want to go with that. No, that wasn't a bad one. That wasn't a bad one because they had a surging comeback there. All right, what KISS, man? Keep it simple, stupid. I guess we'll go with the helmet catch for the Patriots. Another New England one, just because they were undefeated that season.
That's how you feel?
Yeah, man. You got the helmet on the table, man. We got the 2 for 1 answer with the Patriots. Yeah, let's go ahead and make it a 3 for if it's up there. The helmet catch with David Tyree. Super Bowl 40.
That's how you feel.
Yeah, man. I'm rolling it all out. It'll be okay though.
Good.
Feez happy about
not
that
be
one.
up there. Although I think that was probably worse than the 28-3 in my opinion. You can't keep doing this to me. We already did the Mac Jones. We're not gonna keep doing this every week.
Oh yeah. We already had our fun. Shoot.
Yep. Right, I'm a poll the audience. I'm gonna just mash all the games together. Like poll the audience here. I don't know what that was on.
Okay.
Be a millionaire. I think that was what it was. I'm gonna take Jamila's answer, which was gonna be my next answer anyway. Give me the Seahawks, Legion of Boom, destroying Denver, 43-8. Disgusting game. Ball over Peyton Manning's head. First quarter. Game was never close.
You talking about the Bruno Mars concert?
Oh yeah.
God, dude, I remember they were there. I was at a Super Bowl party. They were betting on it, and they were trying to bet the last, like the what is it, man? I'm drawing a blank. Like the ending number for the Broncos score at the end of the quarter, and because they went for 2, it knocked him out of the bet because he thought it was going to be 7. They went for 2 and got it. So Legion of Boom. That was embarrassing because that was the number 1 offense versus the number 1 defense. Peyton Manning had broke Breeze's yard by like 1. Yeah, by like 1 yard, literally.
Yep. Threw for 55 touchdowns, broke the single season scoring record.
There we go.
Yep.
We're going to hear a bing on here. All right. Now we got 1 left.
Let's go.
It's either 1 answer or 1, what's it called? Or 1 X, man. We got another comment out there in the chat?
You got it right.
Oh, yeah, you are right. Yeah, okay.
It's up to,
They faked you. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all so
Really?
much. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Really?
Mac Jones.
I don't even want to hear the We Won the Round music. You don't run me out like that.
Yeah, don't play that. Just on to the next. We'll wipe to the next screen. Feez is like, y'all really done tricked me. He ain't even gonna participate in the next round now.
The
Y'all realize
judges
y'all
got
just
jokes.
did? Yeah. You see, the date, man.
I'm just going to call it out for Adam.
And we still got another hour to go. And now he gonna be, oh man, with that one up there, I don't know how to do it.
You don't know how bad this is. Like, I literally went on a job interview, and a dude had a picture of the David Tyree catch on his wall, and I couldn't talk.
It was like, yeah, I
was
want
like-
this job.
I was stuck. I had no words. Like, why is that on the wall? Like, you playing with me?
Like, sir, are you okay? Yeah, I just had a little bit of PTSD. I'm sorry. I just missed history there.
Extreme.
But you got to give hats off to Eli for that final drive.
No,
I
no,
know.
I won't.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm not going to. But that final drive by Eli,
It's like you
was
asking the
pretty
Falcons
immaculate.
fans to appreciate what happened to him in that game.
Yeah, appreciate the first 3 quarters for me. No, not gonna happen.
Like,
Who
no.
took the dub? Yeah, no, I feel you. If you're not first, you're last. Unfortunately, when you're in the Super Bowl, man, if you're not first, you're last.
Pretty much.
So for the third question here, we had obviously some reunited guys in the NFL draft, quarterback, wide receiver duos, teaming back up from college. What is going to be the top college teammate pairing from the 2021 NFL draft? Top 3 answers are on the board. I think we have more than 3, but we're talking about the 3 most impactful ones. Feez, you want to go ahead and take a swing at this one first?
3 most, I'm going to give you the top most impactful pairing of the whole quarterback teammate pairings. Like to call it reunited, and it feels so good.
Reunited and it feels so... Oh, wait, we still on air. My fault. Excuse me.
Boy. Well, you
still
sing
there,
like
Bob.
Tim Tebow play quarterback.
Wow, we just had to go there. Hey, that's true, though. I will accept that. Hey, man, I'm up here on the mic. I'm not singing. I'm broadcasting to you guys. Perfectly placed. I agree. Highly agree. Can't even be mad about that. I know I'm not a singer, brother.
I'm going to go with the duo that had 3 years together in college, won a national championship, only lost, 2 football games in their entire career together. Give me Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne.
Junior, RB2 in the first round. You know some people really dogged that pick. I'm getting nervous, man. Yeah, see, it flips faster than that. Look, but hey, first 2 rounds, started off rough. Still, and look, we only got 3. So we'll see. I think we'll finish it, man. I think we'll finish it. So
Judges are hating.
they on you heavy, man. Faking you out with answers, delaying us on the first one. Yeah, we started out rough for these 3 rounds. So I know Tua and Jalen are going to be able to play effectively. Tua's arm just worries me. And you kind of get the impression, okay, is Jalen maybe too fast for Tua in some points? Yeah, they threw together at the college level, but this is tighter coverage. Your line's not going to be like it was. Like, your receivers aren't going to have as much space. Like I said, you're obviously going to have much tighter coverage. Tua and Jalen Waddle, I believe, will be one. Probably not the top answer, although it could be. But Tua, as much as I do believe in him, he does have a small arm in NFL. At the end of the day, he does. So Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Waddle for the reunion.
If that's number one, we're going to have to talk to the judges.
Yeah,
we got a cheat code.
They said we're going to throw the rankings out. Hey, it's all good. It's all good, man. So here we go.
At least they aren't number one.
Okay, so we got to ask what's wrong with Petty Nation because Hurts and Smith, like, this one's tough because you got Burrow and Chase. Still nervous about that line. Like, oh, yeah, is he going to drop back for Jamar Chase? Okay. Yeah, we know they addressed the line, but, like, they still didn't get that piece that I feel like on the line. Tua and Jalen in the middle. Yeah, seems fair, but it's like, who could you surefire put at the one? Like, apparently we see the fans, Hurts to Smith, which I guess we got some Eagles
of those
fans
three,
in
I
there.
would have to put Burrow and Jamar Chase at
the top.
one, just from what they did in college.
Yeah, but see, it's so different in the NFL, man. Like, Burrow coming back.
But like the two Alabama combinations, they played with each other, but not really. Devontae Smith was technically on the team with Jalen Hurts, but he just made that catch in the national championship game against Georgia, and then Jalen went to Oklahoma, and then Devontae played with Tua, and Waddle was hurt.
Yeah.
Like, that was last year he was hurt. So, yeah, Waddle did play with Tua.
Right.
I can't give him that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying about Burrow.
So I would have to take Jalen and Devontae to the bottom, though.
Okay. Yeah, because, like, you look at Tua's passing stats with Jalen Waddle. I want to say this man had, like, upwards of an 80% completion percentage, throwing to Jalen Waddle. Like, the yardage was through the roof. I know he was, slinging plenty of touchdowns to him. And at the end of the day, like, Jalen Waddle, I think he's going to be that ultimate weapon potentially for Miami because, like, he's a huge home run hitter, plays extremely vertical, like I said. Bring him around on some jet sweeps, the fullback, like, however you want to move him around, get him crazy with some motion, whatever the case may be. But he's going to be a huge home run hitter in this draft.
I've got a late answer.
From the petty text line, look like?
Yes, from the text line. Which one was that? That was from category number one.
Oh,
Who's
wow.
Most likely to disappear in the playoffs.
Our connection that bad?
Dame Lillard.
Ouch.
Ooh, that one was tough.
Man.
I can't even argue with it.
Yeah.
But man, it's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, because people have all the recency bias of the bubble MVP, and, like, there's no doubt he was a baller. I mean, him and Devin Booker were, neck and neck, but yeah. Wow.
Yep. See, we even got Mama Sharper participating in Petty Feud.
There we go. Appreciate you.
Oh, yeah. So we've reached the top of the hour. What we're going to do is take a little quick break. We're going to come back. We're getting back into some NBA action. We're going to talk about the play-in tournament and everything that goes along with that. Everything else on the slate. So, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all keep it locked for the second half of the show. Mike Beasley, take it away.
Yeah, appreciate that. Famous Facts Fees. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning in tonight. Petty Sports Wednesday night edition, all brought to you by Kingz Broadcasting Studios. You are tuned in to Famous Facts Fees, and Adam Lewis coming at you with the hottest takes in the sports game right now. So, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate it if you. We hope you guys really enjoyed the Petty Feuds set right there. That was pretty fun. So they kicking much flavor every week, doing something different to keep the show very interesting and keep you guys engaged. So do call in. Feel free to call in at the Petty Sports line at 678-871-9602. 678-871-9602. That's how you can call in and be a part of the show tonight. Go check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts for some of the previous shows that they've done in the past. And today's show will air tomorrow on those different platforms. That's Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. Type in Petty Sports. That's sports with a Z. And you can, jam to it riding down the street. You know what I'm saying? Share with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Call your friend, neighbors, co-workers. Text your friend, neighbors, and co-workers, and let them know these two guys, they at the table, they doing what they do, and that's going in hard on this sports thing. You know what I mean? Taylor Mobley, we see you out there. What's good? Mike on the Mike Sports Podcast. I see you out there, man. What's happening then, everybody? Share the show. Sharing is caring. Go to Kingz Broadcasting with it. Go to kingsbroadcasting.com. That's Kingz with a Z. Spend some money. We got all kind of merchandise over there. They make great gifts, and it helps support us to keep bringing forth this good, great content and quality every week. Hit the donate button. You know, at the bottom of the page, you can spend some money with us. You know what I'm saying? Support black business. Support black business. Support black businesses. Cause we do. ATL. Ho. Now back to the regular schedule program.
What up, folks? You're here for hour 2 of Petty Sports, the podcast presented by Kingz Broadcasting Studios. It's your boy, your host, Famous Feez. They call me Facts. Got my man Adam. You ready for this?
Yeah, man. Let's go. Second hour. We at the top of the show, man. Petty feuds behind us. Started off with some hot Tebow stuff. Now we're about to get into a guy who's kind of walking it back, ain't he? Kind of surprising.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's surprising, but he's absolutely walking it back.
Whoo, wait till y'all hear the name. Everybody gonna be in the chat after that one.
LeBron James. It's that guy.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even a whole year after LeBron openly supported the bubble play-in tournament. LeBron is now saying that whoever created the play-in tournament needs to be fired. And that's paraphrasing his words. Because he just went all the way in. Like, he doesn't like it at all.
Right.
So, I mean, before we even give a take on it, let me just explain to y'all if anyone watching doesn't actually know how this whole thing works. In the play-in tournament, the Eastern and Western Conference teams that are ranked 7th through 10th will play a single elimination tournament next week. The 7 and 8 seed, the winner of that game, will get the 7th seed in the playoffs for their respective conference. So they'll get the 7th seed and they'll go on to face the 2 seed in the playoffs. The loser of the 7-8 game will go now and wait on the 9 versus 10 matchup. The 9 versus 10 winner will now play the 7 versus 8 loser. And the winner of that game will get the 8 seed and advance to play the number 1 seed. So I know that sounds like a little bit of French, but if we just give you some perspective of what that looks like. Right now in the Eastern Conference, Boston is 7, Charlotte is 8, the Pacers are 9, and the Wizards are 10. So if the play-in tournament started today, you get Boston versus Charlotte, and you get the Pacers versus the Wizards. So the winner of Boston and Charlotte, which will more than likely be Boston, would go on to get the 7 seed, and they play the Nets in the first round. Then Charlotte would go on to play the winner of the Wizards and the Pacers, which would be my man Russell Westbrook.
Oh, yeah.
Then Charlotte would then play Washington to go and contend for the 8th seed, which the Wizards would win again. So now we get Washington versus Philly. So that's how that whole thing's going to work. It'll be the same thing on both sides. You know, the Western Conference, you'll have Lakers Warriors if it started today, and you get Grizzlies Spurs. So the same succession. The winner of that first game gets the 7th seed. Winner of the second game plays as the loser of the first game. It's pretty simple. It's not even that deep. It's 3 games. I don't even know why people are upset about it. So, I mean, do you think that this is a good idea?
Honestly, I do, because like when I think about sports, one thing that really draws me to watch any sport is the fact that anything can always happen. And when you look at the Suns last year going 8-0, and like everybody was raving, yes, we know they were pretty bad in the regular season. They had 34 wins. They were like 14 games below 500. Excuse me. But when you bring in the play-in tournament, it gives all these teams the opportunity that are on the verge. Maybe if they need just a little extra time, maybe just they do need that extra series or that extra game to get in. Because like you look at the Warriors right now, they just knocked off the Suns and the
Utah.
There you go. The 2 teams in the NBA with the best records right now. So, like, that's a prime example of a team who could still be trying to get the chemistry together. Okay, maybe we just need one more shot at it. And it gives those teams that are on the cusp a chance to get in, because you never know once the playoffs start. Like, I want to say, I know you're going to get mad at me for it, but the helmet catch, weren't the Giants like 9-7 that year?
Yeah, they were.
I wish I could have seen his face. Oh, okay. He's like, yes.
I'm glad I wasn't on the screen.
Yeah, they saved you. They spared you. They got you enough in the feud, man. But yeah, when you give a team an extra chance, because like I said, anything can happen in sports. And then once you get the shot to run in the playoffs, you could be clicking in, and you're going to have that underdog mentality. Like we've seen it happen in the NFL. Maybe not so much in the NBA. Like, yeah, it kind of felt like it with Warriors Raptors, but we know people were hurt in that. You know, no Durant. Klay Thompson had hurt himself. You know, was Curry even like 100% in that? I'm
I
not
think
sure.
he was fine, but it was just him.
Right. Well, yeah, it was just him. Exactly. So, yeah, I think the play-in tournament's a great idea. I mean, give somebody a new shot. We're always looking for new people to crown. You know, we're going to talk about our NBA awards later. So, like, we're always looking for a new champion, a new guy to be that dude, you know, new media spotlight. Oh, he just emerged last year. Like, how do you think Jamal Murray got talked about this year? Because he went off in the bubble, played well with Jokic.
Yep.
I'm a fan of the play-in tournament. I love to see new faces all the time. So, I'm here for it.
Oh, man, I think it's awesome. I definitely would like to piggyback off of what Steph Curry said. I mean, like, there's teams that get hot near the end of the season, and now they actually have an opportunity to still get in.
Exactly.
So, I mean, the flip side of that, you get teams that are like, okay, we can't win enough games to get in, so then they go into tank mode.
Yeah.
So now you got a bunch of bad games.
Let's just go for a lottery pick.
The product gets bad. You got teams that already have their spot solidified, which they're still doing that now.
Yeah.
They're in. They don't need to win unless they're really jockeying for a space. But those teams right down there in that bottom little quadrant that we have playing in the play-in tournament, now they really got something to shoot for.
Right.
And you've got teams that are in the 11th spot that are busting their asses to try to get in because, like, at 11, you could come up one space, you can get in this play-in tournament, and you still got a shot. I mean, there's players that make names for themselves, just like what the Suns did. Like they won those 8 straight. Those actually weren't the play-in games.
Right.
They didn't make the play-in game. They won those 8 and got to 34 and was still just a little short.
Literally played the seeding games, knocked it out of the park, and was like, yep, we still don't have a chance. And like you were saying, you get teams late in the season to where like they might be a 34-48 record, but they're playing like they're 60-22. You know, like they're playing like they're really hot. So I'm right there with you on the play-in tournament.
Team may have had injuries during the season. They may have finally got the chemistry together. Like there are many reasons why teams get better later in the season. But if they just have fallen too short, then like they get no chance.
Right. And it's really like the play-in tournament's almost like, okay, what's your excuse now? We added this new thing into the NBA that a lot of the old heads are going to be on. And like, I'm not going to say that it was necessary, but I like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not against it. So, because, you know, the NBA's been so structured, like, you know, you got your teams, you got your games, and then, you know, the really interesting bubble year. So now there's just another aspect we're adding on. There's no excuse now. It's like, if you're on the cusp, if you feel like you got some time, we just gave it to you there. You know, let's see what happens.
Like everything evolves. I mean, the NBA playoff format, they used to only play 5 games in the first round. Now they're all 7.
Yep.
The NFL, they added a game to the season. They added a playoff team into the format.
Right.
They evolve these things to make them better. And there's always people who don't agree with it initially, but then it just becomes like, oh, okay, that actually is pretty cool. Now you get this one more team in. There's another playoff game. Now we got these teams that actually have a chance to get in. If this wasn't the case, the Washington Wizards are now playing very good basketball, but at the 10 seed, they wouldn't be sniffing the playoffs. But now they can just hold on to it. They have a legit shot to get in and really make some noise.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't pick them to beat the Sixers, but they're going to be a problem.
Right. They're not going to be an easy out.
I'd rather see them play them than Charlotte.
Right, because then you have a team that gives them a run for their money. They still might lose that round, but they're going to have that tread not on the tires when they go into the second round. And then if it's another working up there, it's like, okay, what's your durability like now? And it's going to be another test too, because like I said, okay, now there's more. How is it really going to sway these teams? Could be too much for a team that, man, we really feel like we need to, you know, have this break before the playoff starts. Or, nah, man, you're in a play-in game. Let's see if you even deserve to be in the playoffs. No excuse.
Yeah, man, it's sad, man. So, I mean, just piggybacking off of that, LeBron. I mean, if you got to just really take this in its totality. What he said back in March of 2020, this was before, like, when they were actually just talking about the concept of the bubble itself.
Right.
Because they hadn't even actually constructed that. He came out and said, you got Portland, Memphis, New Orleans, and Sacramento tinkering around there. So if there's 5 or 10 games left, why not those guys battle it out?
Yeah.
Make them play each other all 5 games. And then turn back around in May, which was just a week or so ago. Whoever came up with that needs to be fired. The person who actually created the idea for the play-in tournament spoke on it and was like, well, the person who created it actually was you. Jesus. Like, this idea actually spawned from you.
Yeah.
We listened to you, and we created something to do that. And now it appears that only because the Lakers are actually in the play-in tournament, LeBron has an issue with it. I still don't think he would care. You know, the difference was from March 2020 to May 2021. The Lakers were the number 1 seed in March 2020. They're the 7th seed now.
They had the what? No, they didn't have the best record in the NBA, but they were like second or third best record in the NBA last year, right?
I don't think they had the best overall record, but they were
Bucks.
first in the West.
Right. Yeah. They were first in the West for sure. Yeah. And I don't want to believe that LeBron James is walking it back, but it's right in front of our faces. I mean, and it's like, obviously he's concerned about some sort of, you see, it's got me at a loss for words. Like, obviously he's concerned about some sort of like postseason, presence. Like, we know the guy's got rings and people try to discount all of them, especially the Bubba ring, this and that. But I mean, I hope he's not only against it because the Lakers are going to be in the play-in tournament. And if anything, if you're potentially going to be in that spot, LeBron, just like you said last year, don't you want a chance to fight it out? Or do you just want to go home? Because you'll be more pissed off if you go home. Or do you want to try to play into it? We know Father Time's working on you. We know what's going on with AD. Like, we understand that the Lakers are really on the edge right now. I don't know if they're going to make it out of the West, to be honest with you. They've got the talent, like you said, if they can even run. So we'll see. But I definitely agree that it's like, okay, don't say one thing, because the same situation applies now. You've got the chance to prove if you belong. Injuries or not, things happen. You're going to get your time. You guys are trying to be back. Let's see what happens with the Lakers.
Oh yeah, man. Like I'm just thrown off by it. I mean, like, what, is he going to make another statement where he comes out and says he's going to activate playoff mode?
That was non-playoff me. Y'all know when I go into the playoff mode, I sign off Instagram. Y'all see I was still posting on social. Like, come on, LeBron. Come on, man. Like, we know you're a GOAT. Just let's make it happen, please. Like, seriously.
Like, LeBron can miss me with that. You are where you are, so you got to play.
Right.
So win. Just win.
Right.
That's it. It's simple, really. You can blame it on injury why y'all fell that far, but now you're down there and you got to win.
Yep. Gotta prove it.
We understand how you got there, but you're going to play.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's how it works, man. We shifting gears right away from LeBron. We're going to keep with all the controversial topics today. It's just 2 weeks ago, 259 players were drafted, and not one single player from an HBCU was selected to go to the NFL. 259 players, and not a single one of them. And Hall of Fame corner Deion Sanders absolutely expressed his displeasure via Twitter. So my question for you is, can the late spring season actually be to blame for this?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, like, obviously, when you're playing football, there's a lot of tape involved. And if you're having your shortage of time there to where you can't actually get your highlights going or even get your time on the field, how is someone going to properly evaluate you? And you look at how the season was, like, it being late, obviously the pandemic. We're already talking about, like, let's just call it how it is. We're just talking about small schools at the end of the day. I mean, they're not going to be, D1, SEC, whatever the case may be. So it's already going to be harder for them in that aspect. But now that it's going to be with a modified season, you're not getting your spotlight, you're not truly getting your chance to be out there and play all of your games, get all of your reps in. Yeah, I think we could definitely blame that on the season. And unfortunate as that is, you don't want something to be so natural be the cause as to why you can't get your fair shot. But I mean, we saw what the pandemic did. We saw how it affected sports. Like, I was shocked that the NFL scene was able to completely go through. Like, obviously we had, football Sunday through Monday at one point. But yeah, I could definitely say that the spring season being shortened in the way that it played out, even though before, like, obviously we know, like, it's been tough for HBCUs when it comes to not reputation, but being recognized rather, in the NFL draft, having players come in, being able to contribute for teams. So yeah, definitely that season going the way it did, it definitely hurt it. No question about that.
I mean, on one hand, I can see that it hurt it, but I also feel like the HBCUs playing in the spring actually gave them more exposure. Mm-hmm. Them playing in the fall, the same as all the major schools, nobody's really watching them.
Yeah.
Because you're watching the major teams. And it's not like it's a knock to them. It's just like, man, when you got Bama playing against Georgia, you're not going to watch Grambling versus Jackson State.
Right.
You're just not going to do it. Even if you went to those schools, you might not watch if that matchup is on.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think that they get better exposure playing in the spring. And the fact that there was no combine, it's like, what were you evaluating anyway? You were just looking at game tapes. These dudes are playing right now. And there are multiple players that were in the HBCUs that were projected 4th, 5th, and 6th round. It's like, how did they fall out of the draft if you already had them graded that high and you were getting the chance to watch them play. Because somebody had a decent pro day, but you were watching this guy actually play against somebody. I mean, the pro day was just you out there working out in shorts and T-shirt. But this dude was out here still actually playing.
Right.
None of them are going to suit up for you until the fall. So the late spring thing shouldn't even have been an issue to that extent to where none of them got drafted.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them signed with teams as undrafted free agents, but that's a slap in the face.
Yeah.
I mean, there are plenty of HBCU players that are good enough to have gotten drafted because they already had draft grades that said that they should have been selected.
Right.
Then you turn around and got somebody like Tebow out there warming up. You know I wasn't going to let that go. You got all these HBCU players, and you talking about working out Tim Tebow.
Timothy.
What? Man, stop it.
Tim. We got the tomatoes flying up, bro.
Throw them. Throw them all.
Here they come, man.
So, man,
oh, my goodness.
Do you think that this will hurt recruiting for HBCUs?
I feel like I have to say yeah, because, I mean, it's obviously showing that there's no respect for these players. Like, there are guys out there that deserve a shot in the NFL, and if they're not ever going to get their fair look, it kind of ties in with the first. Did the spring season potentially hurt or, blame it? Well, I mean, let's just go to the overall root of the problem. These are schools that aren't really recognized in the first place. These guys aren't necessarily like on the map. Yeah, they have draft grades, but at the end of the day, we know the cream of the crop is, SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12. Like, you're talking about your linemen coming from, the big conferences and this, and that. But if we're talking about recruiting of players, so do you mean rather, I might have taken your question wrong. Do you mean from high school to an HBCU or from an HBCU to the NFL?
From high school to the HBCU.
Okay, well, in that aspect, no, not really then, because I think it can just drive more of the fuel to say, okay, like, let me go to this school to show that I can actually make it to the league. Let's show that I went from X high school to this HBCU, and I'm still going to go to the NFL. Might not be a top player, but I'm still going to say, hey, I got drafted from here and went to the NFL. And, like, perfect example is, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like ignorant when it comes to HBCUs, but like, in terms of who they, like the actual universities and stuff. But Shannon Sharp talking about him playing at Savannah State, not a big school, but coach told him, hey, stick it out. I know you're good enough. You've got the talent. And obviously went to the NFL, Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion. A little bit of a different situation there, but obviously smaller school, sticking it out with the players. So I think it can maybe bring a confidence, like an underdog mentality. Okay, let me show people that I can do this, going from high school to this HBCU and then to the NFL.
A lot of the older greats came from HBCUs. Jerry Rice went to Mississippi Valley State.
Okay. See, didn't even know that there.
There's plenty of folks. Like, man, even
Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, that's who he was just talking about.
Okay,
Shannon.
so Savannah. Okay, there we go. Look, learning something new. There we go.
You didn't see me sit up here on this. I sat right here next to you wearing the Savannah State hat.
Man, you were
repping the HBCU.
You were too many hats, bro.
Don't hate on my hat game.
Oh, no, man. Somebody got your hat today, though, bro. Cut looking smooth, man. I didn't even compliment you. You're looking good, brother.
I appreciate it. I finally saw a barber for the first time in like 3 months.
Save the hosts, please. Please.
Yeah, man. But I don't think it'll hurt recruiting, just for the mere fact that, like, there are a lot of players that have come from HBCUs that have turned into then Hall of Famers. Mm-hmm. On top of the fact that we've got a lot of major former NFL players that are coaching. We all know about Dion. We just talked about Eddie George a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And just most recently, Marshall Faulk. Where is he at? He's somewhere in Louisiana. I think he's going to coach at Southern.
Okay.
Yeah, for the Southern Jaguars. So he'll be out there in Louisiana. But, like, that's now 3 major NFL players that'll be coaching at HBCUs. So, I mean, I think that'll weigh heavily into attracting top-level talent to these HBCUs. But to your point that most of the players come from the heavy hitters, I think we need to normalize looking and not looking down on the HBCU players the same way we've normalized North Dakota State as a power.
Right.
Who the hell do they play? We're like, oh, it's Trey Lance, it's Carson Wentz. They didn't play nowhere.
Right.
When did North Dakota State become some highly reputable college to where we're looking at them like, oh, they produce NFL talent, but the HBCUs don't? It's ridiculous. I mean, just what, last year or the year before, in the second round. New England drafted a player from what was the name of that school that Kyle Duggar came from?
I don't remember. He actually, crazy enough, went to high
like
school. with one of my
Lenore
friends.
something?
Lenore Ryan?
Yeah.
There you go. Yep.
Where's that at?
Right.
He got drafted in the second round?
Yeah,
Who did he play against?
Right. He went from
I don't even know what state that's in.
Northgate High School here in Georgia to Lenore Ryan. I got to look that up. Where are they at?
No clue where that's at.
I only know
But
one other person.
You
and it
got
was a
folks
guy that,
coming from there in the second round, and we acting like HBCUs don't produce talent?
Right. Yep. In North Carolina.
It's a slap in the face.
Bruh.
Like, you ain't gonna just keep telling me this stuff is okay and picking people up from these other spots that nobody's ever heard of. It don't make no sense. They gotta cut it out.
Right.
So, man, the message to y'all, good people listening, support the HBCUs. Tell these folks, man, like, we got to get the kids to go to the HBCUs. The NFL folks, y'all need to actually expand your horizons.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
You could be missing out on a lot of studs, and at the end of the day, like we were talking about with the recruiting, that's actually a great point that we brought up to. Like, you could have these guys, because of course everybody would love to go to Alabama and be a first-round pick and go on and be great. But I mean, when it's the easiest path, and we always hear about the Alabama players being criticized versus, okay, coming out of high school, I went to an HBCU. I still played damn good, well enough to be able to get recognized, and now I am in the league. You know, like you said, we've got some GOATs in the league, or some very legendary players that were going to HBCUs. So
yeah, it's
definitely possible, but it also shows you, unfortunately, at the end of the day, are people still going to have that conviction to push to go to an HBCU because they know they're taking a chance at the end of the day. I mean, let's just call it how it is. They're taking a chance, not getting recognized, and they might feel, oh, maybe my talents are being wasted, which if you're striving for the NFL and you don't ever really get a good look, like, I'm not going to lie, I'd feel like that too. But it's all about having that confidence, paving your way, and really defining your story. So anybody that chooses to take that route, I give my hat off to you. I believe in you. Absolutely. If your talent is great enough, you'll make it to the league. Just like Shannon Sharp said, if you are going to be a generational talent, somebody will see you. Whether it's on social media, the tape, they come out to watch you, you will get seen.
Yeah, but I mean, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but the most recent one with the biggest success story coming from the HBCU.
I was curious on that.
Steve McNair.
Wow.
Alcorn State, HBCU, my frat brother. Went straight in there, MVP of the league, took his team to the Super Bowl, was about an inch away, maybe it's about 1 foot literally from making it to actually winning the Super Bowl.
Right.
So, I mean, it can absolutely be done when they just take you got to take the bias goggles off and actually look at the players for what they are.
Facts.
These players are good. They're not getting opportunities like someone we know that played for the University of Florida.
He big. Like he's a petty. You petty. We need a sound effect that says that when we're just up here going, I just petty. We need that, man. That would be great. Oh my goodness. Good talks there though, man. I definitely love this topic here.
Oh, yeah, man. We'll bring the petty sound effects for y'all next week when we figure out what it's going to be. We got a few more topics to drop on you a little bit in the NBA award segment, and we got some boxing to finish off at the top of the show.
Yeah, baby.
We're going to let Mike Beasley take this thing away one more time, and we're going to come in and knock it out the park. Mike Beasley, what's popping?
Yeah, man. Y'all, like always, doing what you do, setting it off up here on Kingz Broadcasting every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. Petty Sports. Tune in. Be there, be square. Call in at 678-871-9602, 678-871-9602. That's how you can be a part of the action tonight. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that's been in the chat room, chopping it up, giving your opinions. We greatly appreciate it. Everybody, please go over to Kingz Broadcasting on YouTube and Facebook, Kingz Broadcasting with a Z. Subscribe to those pages. Subscribe to the Petty Sports page. That's Petty Sports with a Z on YouTube and Facebook alike. So anytime the show goes hot or puts out some information or, a nice clip of a video that's going viral, you know what I'm saying, you will be tuned in and right there like Johnny on the spot with it. You know what I'm saying? So do that for us. Join the pages on Facebook and YouTube, Kingz Broadcasting and Petty Sports. We'll greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for everybody that shared the show tonight. Appreciate you tuning in. We love you guys. Without no you, there is no us. Go to KingzBroadcasting.com. Spend your money. with your boys. You know what I mean? Go to Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Check out some of the previous shows. And this show currently you're listening to tonight will be on all 3 platforms tomorrow. So check us out there. Share. And ATL Hope.
Yes, sir. We back for the last hour of the show. We about to get this thing on and popping with the Petty NBA Awards. And, I really was torn when I called it Petty Awards that I was going to make some petty picks. But I decided not to do that. Because, I done messed around and gave the MVP award to Russell Westbrook.
Yeah. With the content lately and the way he's been balling out, yeah.
It was like, we're not going to do that. We'll just give you where they actually should go. So, man, we're going to run down this list of where the Petty crew thinks that the NBA awards should go at the conclusion of the NBA season. So right here at the top of the docket, we're going to start with the big award, the MVP award. Who you got taking home that trophy this year?
It's got to be Steph Curry for me, man. You look at him, 32 points a game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. But when you truly see what Steph Curry has had to work with this year, a non-existent Draymond Green, it feels like he had just a couple good seasons. And we know he can play defense and rebound and pass the ball, but he's not an extreme contributor to the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, you see Steph Curry being able to ball out. And when you look at the Warriors last year, literally being the worst team in the NBA, having 15 wins by a long shot. They were the worst team in the NBA, worst record in the NBA. Then you only bring back Steph Curry, no Klay Thompson. Yeah, you still got your little bits of Draymond Green and Steve Kerr, the head coach is still there. But the fact that he's producing at this level, they just beat the 2 best records in the NBA on back-to-back nights. Feels like they're getting hot at the right time. If we're really talking about value here, I know there's a big argument for Jokic. He's redefining the big center, the center position. Absolutely love what he's doing. But I got to give the award to Steph Curry, man. He's easily working with less. MPJ, Michael Porter Jr. has actually stepped up with Jokic, so it's kind of not helping his MVP case because we know Curry doesn't have that much help. So it's got to be Steph for me, man.
Okay, I like the pick. I would be happy to see Steph get it, but in the 7th seed, there's no way it's going to happen.
Yeah, we've seen it.
It's got to go to Nikola Jokic. The only time we ever saw anyone rank that low, get the MVP award, was Russell Westbrook when he finished the season with the triple-double for the first time. They were in the 6th seed at that point. So Steph's not even up that high. I think Steph is more valuable to his team, but we know how this award goes.
Yep.
If the best player on the team with the best ranking in the entire leagues, they're not only in first place in the West, they're in first place in the NBA.
Yep.
And he's without Jamal Murray and has been without him for quite some time. The dude's dropping 26.5 points, 11 boards, and 8 assists. He's having a monster year, and his team is currently sitting at the top of the mountain. So, there's no way that you can deny Jokic that award for this season just for that fact, but I would love to see Steph get it because he is more valuable to his team at this point. And for all the folks that are CP3 folks, there's no way he's getting MVP.
Yeah.
No way at all. I don't care if they are in the number 2 spot.
Right.
They have 48 wins now. They had 34 wins last year. They did improve, but he didn't walk into a bad team. That team they caught fire at the end of last season.
Yep.
And then picked up an all-time point guard. So they were going to be better this year whether he went there or not.
I don't know, man.
Not number 2 seed better, but they were going to be better than they were last year.
Yeah. I see why Chris Paul is getting talks for the MVP, though, because, obviously the MVP is really just the glorified who's the best player in the league, because I don't think it was Giannis's award last year, but that's neither here nor there.
Best record in the league. It's the best player on the best team, unless somebody does something beyond historic.
Astronomical, yeah. And another thing that really blows my mind is how we had Nick Wright saying, oh, yeah, if Jokic wins the MVP, it's so unimpressive, but it's when have we seen a big man be able to be this versatile? The fact that he shoots the way he does from downtown, the way he does on the field, the way he can rebound, the way he can pass the ball, feels like the last time we maybe saw an actual big that passed this well was Kevin Love, Joakim Noah. Let's be for real,
Noah?
He was a great passer. He could pass the ball. And it looks like the Atlanta Hawks just clinched the 4th seed in the NBA. They just came back in the 4th quarter, man. There was just a stat up there. They are
I don't
number
think
one.
I've ever heard anybody big up Joakim Noah. You have this Florida love affair. Tim Tebow, now Joakim Noah.
He was just a good passer, man.
Did
He
you
could
go to
pass the ball.
Florida?
Yeah, man, I got a tattoo right here.
You gotta be an alum. That explains it.
No. I'm not sitting over here saying Joakim Noah was an amazing player, which at the end of the day, he was pretty good, but he could pass the basketball extremely well. If we're just talking about bigs passing the ball, Joakim Noah could move the ball around the court. I mean, he wasn't a guy to take your team over the top like Jokic is. Like, we're not talking about MVP level, but if we're just talking about passing for a big man, go look at his numbers, man.
I can't believe
He
you
can
said
pass the
Joakim Noah.
Go look it up. Joakim Noah can pass the basketball, dude. Come on now. Talking
man.
about the Carlos Boozer, Tom Thibodeau, that crazy defensive days.
We gonna have to
This
move
dude
to
was
the
pulling
next
a triple
topic.
double with blocks.
What's the next one? Defensive player of the year.
Don't give me this. I'm not here for this. Defensive player of the
We
year.
are not gonna talk about Joakim Noah.
I'm just talking about bigs passing the ball, man. Spare me. So defensive player of the year. Obviously, the easy pick is Rudy Gobert, like a guy who leads the league in defensive rebounds as well as total rebounds. Like, this guy's a monster around the rim. Also first in blocks, and now leads the league in blocks per game as well. We know he's been a 3-time defensive player of the year. Also leads the league in defensive win shares as well, which, is a big stat, rather for like the centers and power forwards, things of that nature. But let's talk about a guy who actually was able to get a good swing this year in Ben Simmons, being 6'10" at the point guard position, can defend the wing really well. And the fact that he is 6th in defensive shares as a point guard, like I just said, that's a defensive stat for big guys. 6th in defensive win shares. Like I said, the best defending guard in the game, which, and him being 6'10" really shows on the court, really long guy. And when you've got a point guard able to be that effective on defense, like, it's pretty lethal, because now if he could just actually pick the shot up, get the scoring, like, we could see a point guard that could be top in this league. It's just battle with a lot of inconsistency. We saw it last year with the Sixers. It was like, okay, what are they truly? We've seen it a couple times in the season. But if I had to go defensive player of the year, as much as it's easy to pick Rudy Gobert, I think the elevation of Ben Simmons and the fact that this is a point guard we're talking about for this award, I got Ben Simmons for defensive player.
All right, see, I was like, all right, he gonna roll Rudy Gobert, and then you switch it up and you took my guy. I'm also giving the award to Ben Simmons. I mean, he's had an amazing year. I mean, he's really turned the corner, and that team being in first place in the East just takes him over the top. It's almost the same as what the MVP award is. Your team is in first place. Your team plays excellent defense, and you're the focal point behind it. Granted, we can't discount what Joel Embiid does for him. He's still taking the best player every night, night in and night out, decreasing their numbers no matter who you put him on. I mean, you can't deny it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Gobert got it, but I think Ben Simmons deserves it.
Right. The media is going to want to crown somebody different, definitely.
Yeah, that voter fatigue is real.
Yeah.
Just like Giannis ain't getting another MVP award.
God, no, please.
He hasn't done enough winning.
He didn't deserve it last year, man. He didn't deserve it last year. To me, it was not even close, and it was LeBron's award. Like, come on, dude. I was pissed about that last year. And I was like, really? The news broke while I was at work. I was like, come on, dude.
I'm going to be interested to see where you go with this one. Coach of the year. There are quite a few guys who are all very well deserving of this award.
So I was actually just talking about him for Chicago Bulls. It's going to be Tom Thibodeau for me. For the New York Knicks, what a signing of Derrick Rose, bringing him in. Like, obviously, like, we're talking about a guy whose career just completely resurged, but you also see it. He was there with Derrick Rose in the young days. Obviously, there was Carlos Boozer with the Bulls. Like, you had, let's see, you had Carlos Boozer, you had Derrick Rose, you had Joakim Noah, you had, I want to say, Kyle Korver at one point before he started hopping around and then retired out of the league. But when you look at how the Knicks are actually playing this year, like, first of all, who thought the Knicks would be sitting at 38-31, sitting at 500, sitting above 500, pushing for the playoffs? Like, this is a team who could potentially go into the second, and if they get hot enough, I trust Tom Thibodeau to take them to the conference finals. I really do. Not saying they're going to make it out, but he's got the moxie. He's got the coaching experience. He's been in there before. Yeah, he's not been a guy who's been having deep runs, but when you have a team like this, like we said, the play-in tournament coming in, surging, good energy at the right time, and you also hear reports now, people are considering going to the Knicks. Like, there's been talks about maybe Kawhi going there if it doesn't work out with the Clippers. I think, as much as I don't think he would survive the media because of how quiet he is. Like, yeah, he's got the stats, but people are going to want to hear him talk, especially up north. Okay, this is our culture. We're loud. We're rowdy. We like to make noise. You know, we dominated back in the 70s, 80s, whatever it was. But when you have Tom...
Did they dominate, really?
Yeah, right. Well, did they have 3 titles in 4 years? I think it was like from...
Knicks?
I'm pretty sure I saw that.
One.
Hold on. Give me a second here. But no, I definitely got Tom Thibodeau for Coach of the Year because the way he was able to swing the Knicks around, like, it was definitely surprising to me. So I've got Tom Thibodeau for Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of torn between him and Quinn Snyder, but I still had to give the nod to Thibodeau just for the mere fact of where he brought the Knicks from. Because last year they were 21-45, 12 seed. They were they were horrible. I mean, there's not a lot of good things you could say about where the Knicks were last year.
Not at all.
All Knicks fans were completely disgusted. See, Stephen A. was falling out of his seat every day watching the Knicks play. And now you see you can't. He's not even laughing at the Cowboys anymore because the Knicks are so good.
Right. He's like, I'm occupied now. I'm good.
Yeah. So, I mean, you go from 21-45 to 38-31. You moved your team up 6 seeds. I mean, they're currently sitting in the 6th seed. They're not even going to have to play in the play-in tournament that LeBron is crying about. So, I mean, that's major just from your coach walking in there. So, I mean, Quinn is going to get very heavy consideration because of where Utah sits, but I would still give the nod just for the mere fact of where he brought them from because Utah was good last year.
Right.
Like, it's not surprising at all, especially considering the injuries to the Lakers. So, I mean, the seeding wouldn't be quite what it was if there hadn't been so much turnover and injury going on in the league.
Right.
You can't fault them for it, but you also have to take it into consideration when you start giving away awards.
Right.
So I definitely could get that thing to Thibs.
Yep. Yeah,
Thibs, whatever you say his name.
5 finals appearances for the Knicks. They're 2-3. They won the finals in 1970, lost the finals in 72, and then won the finals again in 73. Beat the Lakers both times in 70 and in 73, and then lost to the Lakers the year before in 72. Lost in the conference finals in 70 to the Baltimore Bullets. Okay. All right, then. But, yeah, you know, they had their little run, and then they lost again in 94 to the Rockets and then lost again in 99 to the Spurs. So, yep. They had their little runs, though. Dominant was a little low.
Man, let's round this thing off. We're going to do most improved player, and then we got to keep it moving, man. This time is running on us as usual.
It is, man. It is. You know, we always get up here. So, I'm going to say as easy as it is to go with Julius Randle, you know, extremely performing. Like, the Knicks are in a good spotlight right now to get some recognition. I got to go with Michael Porter Jr. because the fact that he's finally healthy, we'll see what he's able to do at a high level in the NBA. And the guy's only 22. This is really only his 2nd full year in the NBA, jumping from 9 points a game to 19 points a game, bumping up the rebounds, you know, basically the same in the assists. But here's the thing. Since Jamal Murray has went down, 25 points a game, 71% true shooting percentage, and he's shooting almost 51% from downtown. He's showing you that his volume can increase. He's obviously able to play next to Jokic, fill that spot in. And if he can get hot and continue to build that chemistry with an MVP caliber player like Jokic, it could almost feel like, okay, like, is... You know, Jamal Murray, like, yes, we know he's not here. But MPJ's supplementing pretty well at this point in his career. He is young. He could kind of come up short, but I got to give it to Michael Porter Jr.
I mean, as of late, he has come on strong, but I don't think he's done it long enough in order to garner that award over the entire season. I think Julius Randle has been consistent all year long.
That is true.
His scoring has ticked up 5 points per game. He's picking up an extra rebound and almost double the assists. Mm-hmm. Like, he's made an exponential jump. He's turned the corner. Don't know if it's because of Thibs or what the deal is exactly. I mean, he's finally just developed. I mean, this player that we're looking at right now, this is what we saw when he came to L.A., and he just never developed into it and got shipped out of town.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's nice to actually see that he really is as good as we all thought he was. Mm-hmm. But I think just for the mere fact that he's been able to do it for the entire season, he deserves the award, even over what Michael Porter Jr. is doing right now. I can't give him the nod just because the sample size is too small.
Yeah.
It'd be like giving Joel Embiid the MVP award. He hasn't played enough.
Thank you.
The games that he's played better. And he could get the MVP. He hasn't played enough of them.
Right. Yep. I'm right there with you. That's like, you know, people talking about rookie of the year for Ball. I'm like, I can't give a guy rookie of the year that was out for 6 weeks. And when he's got a lot of close competition, you know, like you look at Halliburton. So I'm there with you, man. But we about to get into the boxing for real, ain't we?
Too much time. Oh, it's time. We definitely got to move. We moving right along. Floyd Money Mayweather and Logan Paul are set to square off on June 6th in an exhibition match.
Got your hat.
Which I don't understand why they're actually fighting each other. I mean, it's got to be for money, but the pure size differential is ridiculous. But man, we had the whole stolen hat fiasco. Mm-hmm. Logan's brother Jake stole Floyd's hat. Mm-hmm. He supposedly got a tattoo on his leg that says "Gotcha hat."
Are you serious?
Yeah, I saw a picture of it, but I mean that doesn't mean it's real. But he had a tat on his leg that said "Gotcha hat." And had a little picture of a hat.
Oh, my God.
And reportedly, Jake now is not allowed to attend the fight.
Whoa.
I mean,
He gonna be there. He is gonna be there. He will find some way to be there. He won't not be there. He's not even allowed at the fight.
the whole thing is amazing. Like, yeah, like it's pure entertainment. Like, for anybody who watches wrestling, which I don't, but it's the same thing. Like, when they put on a show. They stage these altercations, have all this drama around it. Now everybody wants to watch it. Now you're gonna I guarantee you he just raised the ticket sales on those pay-per-views exponentially with the amount of people who are now looking into it like, wait, what's going on?
Right.
Like, oh, he stole his hat. They don't even know which one he's fighting. They're like, is he fighting the one that stole the hat or is it the other one?
Right.
Now they're trying to make a thing out of it that Jake doesn't care that he won't be at the fight.
Sure.
It's supposed to be hurting Logan's feelings because he was at all Jake's fights. Like, man, what are y'all talking about? Like,
All three.
It's a massive soap opera. I mean, I'm telling you, I would love to see them, since they're doing this like WWF or WWE style or whatever they call it now, because I guess it's not WWF anymore, but that lets you know how long it's been since I watched it. If they just went on ahead and let Jake and Logan tag team in a boxing match, it's an exhibition. You're not going by boxing commission rules. Let them tag team. Let Floyd beat both of them in the same fight. Now that would be entertaining because we
Right.
know it ain't no real fight.
Get the paperwork but his bum.
You can't fight him. I mean, what makes you think that anyone believes Logan or Jake can hit Floyd?
Exactly.
Canelo couldn't hit Floyd.
Exactly.
Manny couldn't hit him. De La Hoya couldn't hit him. Sugar Shane hit him one time, and then he got beat up the rest of the fight. None of these dudes can hit him, and they're all world-class boxers. So why would anyone believe Logan or Jake could put a finger on this dude?
Right. And you even saw Floyd Mayweather in the you even saw Floyd in an interview. I want to say it was on a podcast. He's like, yeah, this isn't a real fight to me. He was like, a YouTuber? He was like, 0-1? Oh, that's money. Literally. Like, that was his exact words. Like,
Yeah.
I guess Floyd needs money. But here's my thing. Floyd is getting older. He's not like, yeah, he is your flexer on social media, but we can't deny that the Paul brothers have a major following. At this point, it's just cross-pollination. It's just going to really help Floyd and obviously really help the Paul brothers. It's going to be money for everybody. And referring to that stolen hat fiasco, like, as much as I think Jake Paul's wins are validated, not saying he's a good boxer, he's going to be this guy, but they are validated wins. He's still got the punk-ass kid mentality, you know, the narrative around him. And then, you know, he takes his hat. Then you have Logan Paul untying Floyd Mayweather's shoes. Like, hey, your shoes untied. Like, dude, you're literally coming off like a 13 or 14-year-old. Like, I understand it's about smack talking, but like, what's really happening? Like, what are we really doing with this? I understand you're trying to be cute and all these semantics and let's get everybody riled up. But I mean, come on, man. It's just, you get to a point where this is just going to show in the ring. You know, like, this is just going to show in the ring. Wesley, I see you over there. Mayweather might knock him out accidentally. No, he's going to knock his ass out on purpose. Definitely going to knock him out on purpose.
Most of these exhibition fights have no knockout clauses.
That is true. Can we just see somebody hit the mat, please? Please?
It's like, y'all gonna do it.
Please. I mean, come on, man. Like, you got Mayweather McGregor, and even in that fight, like, I was kind of pissed that fight was stopped. Like, yeah, McGregor was getting worked, but when you got that fight on, don't you at least let somebody hit the mat? I mean, you fight in an MGM. You're quadrupling Conor McGregor's net worth. Let the dude hit the mat, you know? But as far as the whole hat fiasco, yeah, it's just playing into the childishness at the end of the day of the Paul brothers, you know?
Wesley said May Donna hit him. I know who you're talking about, but that disgusting attempt to spell his name Like, my God, Marcos Maidana is not spelled that way. Like, not even close.
I was like, isn't it Maidana? I'm like, Marcos? I think that's it.
Yeah. Same dude who dropped Adrian Broner.
Yo. Oh.
Goodness.
Bronx Bomber.
I mean, you're on your computer. You could have Googled it.
Autocorrect, man. They going to be out there for you. Well, they got you. They ain't going to see you wrong.
I thought it said Madonna at first. Like, hit who? What are you talking about?
That's why
she never dated him.
Oh, right. I was like, are we going there? I was like, no, I don't think that's relative. You
No.
good, though.
No, man. But yeah, I mean, if Floyd wanted to, he'd just come out there and just clean drop him. But I think they have to have the no knockout clauses in there just for, especially for him. It's like you're fighting a real boxer. Mm-hmm. If they allow him to do that, then he might seriously hurt him.
Right.
I mean, in an exhibition fight, well, actually, it was an exhibition. That's why. That fight against Conor was an actual fight. That counted for his record.
That's Floyd's last technical fight. Like, you read reports, Floyd hasn't boxed since 2017. They don't count the whole Japan boxing thing, you know?
No.
So
that was, all of it's a money grab.
right, yeah, absolutely. It's just let's get more cash in our pockets.
Oh, yeah. But speaking of the money grabs, we got some very interesting stuff developing with the undercard for that fight.
Yes, we do.
Because we all know now that Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson, which I think he dropped the Ocho Cinco, but he's still Ocho Cinco. Ocho has agreed to fight on the undercard of the Mayweather-Paul match. Mm-hmm. They've not yet officially released who the opponent is, but we have two suitors. So now my question is, I want to know who you would rather see him fight. Brandon Marshall of First Things First, formerly New York Jets, or Adam Pac-Man Jones of the Cincinnati Bengals.
I would like to see the Brandon Marshall-Ocho Cinco matchup because Brandon Marshall, like, obviously he talks about how he's been boxing. He was pretty silly and called out Fury and Wilder and Anthony Joshua and all these dudes. Like, hey, love the confidence, love the respect. You're not a professional boxer yet. Like, if you've been training like one, cool. Come out and win. You'll have the respect immediately, but let's be real. We see how this sport goes. Like, obviously, Ocho Cinco, 6'1", about 200 pounds. Like, you look at some of his tape from when he's been in the gym, it looks like he's kind of got the moves. He looks pretty solid. Like, he looks like he would be able to, be able to move around well in the ring. Doesn't look sloppy. Kind of got some of the twitchiness to him where it could be, like, maybe a little bit of an awkward fighting style, but he would still be able to land his punches. And the report came out that, Pac-Man Jones, I know, right? Got me messed up over here. Pac-Man Jones, apparently him and Ocho Cinco don't want to have that go down because, both being ex-Bengals players. But Brandon Marshall, though, standing at 6'5", 220 pounds, that's a big dude to take on. I don't know if they would try to drop weight, cut it, whatever the case may be. I would guess they would, considering there's about a 40-pound swing in between Chad and Brandon. But if I got to pick a fight that I want to see, I'd love to see First Things First going up against Ocho Cinco. I mean, give it to me, man. I'd buy the pay-per-view. Pretty sure we're going to be watching that fight together, man. So, I'm going to be there for it. Give it to me.
Absolutely. I'm all the way for Ocho versus Brandon. I mean, we watch Brandon every morning. I mean, Brandon is a monster, and he's way too big to be in the ring with Ocho, but it's an exhibition fight.
Right.
So the weight classes don't mean anything. Just like Mayweather versus Logan Paul.
Right.
Logan's way bigger than Floyd.
Right.
But when it's an exhibition, they throw all that out the window because they usually have those clauses. I mean, Brandon's been boxing his whole life, basically, say in a non-pro capacity. But he's been talking about fighting, just like what you were alluding to, like when he was talking about fighting Deontay Wilder.
He was like, Joshua, Wilder, Fury, y'all not tough. Where I come from, y'all don't know what I do. I'm like, Brandon Marshall, bro. You're not a professional boxer, man. You're not in the ring with these guys, dude.
But like Ocho ain't a slouch. I mean, I would pick Brandon Marshall to beat Ocho, but Ocho trained in Floyd Mayweather's boxing club in the offseason the entire time he was in the NFL.
Yep.
So it's like he was getting work in too. Mm-hmm. That's why he looks polished, because he trained in a real gym.
Yep.
Like for a long time. And I mean, since he's been out of the game, he's just had nothing but time to just do what he want to do. The dude said, though, he's good at everything he's ever tried outside of golf.
Talking about Ocho?
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that worries me about Ocho is that he's 43. That's the only thing. Your first fight, 43. I don't know Brandon Marshall's like 35.
36.
Yeah, I was about to say 35, 37, but 36. So, like, they just, I don't know. Like Ocho Cinco shows you that he's in shape, and Brandon Marshall is probably in better shape. But, I mean, it could go down as a... I mean, it could be a pretty even fight, but I would have my money on Brandon Marshall.
I mean, we know shape doesn't matter. We saw Ruiz knock out Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, you're not lying about that one.
He looks like a mechanic.
Yeah, you're not lying about that one, man.
So I can never talk about who's in shape or not again.
Right.
Not for a boxing match. It's a shame, man. So we got just a few minutes, man. We're going to run our last topic off. crazy fight this past Saturday. Saul Canelo Alvarez knocked out Billy Joe Saunders. Well, it was a technical knockout. He didn't drop him. But Saturday night, he unified the super middleweight crown. And he actually fractured bones in Billy Joe's eye.
Yep.
Like, it was ugly. 8th round, fractured the eye socket, swole up immediately, couldn't see. The corner threw in the towel. They stopped the fight. It seemed weak until they showed what happened. I was like, oh, my God.
Exactly.
So, man, were you impressed with Canelo's victory?
Absolutely, man. I mean, when you look at Canelo Alvarez, considering he's 30 years old and still sitting at 56 wins in his career, like, you can say this is potentially the beginning of a new chapter. He's got Caleb Plant on. He's looking to be, I think, the first ever undisputed super middleweight champion, right? Like, this guy's got the moxie, he's got the mojo, and he's got the talk and definitely the skills to back it up. And you look at a quote that he brought out here and said, I said the fight was going to develop in the 7th or 8th round, and it felt like it developed before that, and then going and saying it wasn't as difficult as expected, and that proves my preparation has improved day by day. This was a big fight for him. This was huge considering he had an undefeated fighter up against him, and the only blemish on Canelo's record is, the one loss against Floyd. We do have the two, ties, or not ties, but the no decisions, or whatever the case may be.
No,
but
a draw.
Right. But I do love the win from Canelo Alvarez. I mean, it was a big statement win, and like I said, this could be potentially the beginning of a new chapter that you've got for Canelo Alvarez. He hung in there, landed the awkward punches when he need to, and he just looked so confident. Like, it definitely didn't seem like the moment was too big for him. And some people say this fight did get a little tit for tat in maybe the 5 through 7 rounds. I did see Billy Joe Saunders be able to stand in there, actually be right in front of Canelo, square him up, be able to get his punches. But when it came down to it, you saw the better fighter was Canelo. You saw the preparation was Canelo, and obviously he took it home the way he did. And I mean, the injury was terrible. We'll get to that if we have time. But what did you think overall about Canelo's victory?
I mean, I thought the injury was really unfortunate because the fight was getting really, really good. I mean, like most folks, apparently the judges didn't give the first round to Billy Joe, but it seemed like Billy Joe won the first round because he was a lot busier. Canelo kind of settled in. I mean, he was definitely landing his punches at a higher clip, but Billy Joe was way busier the entire fight. I mean, Canelo got into a groove, but just like you were saying, like around rounds 5 through 7, Billy Joe really started landing. Mm-hmm. Like, it seemed like it was really starting to frustrate and bother Canelo a little bit. Like, it's turned into a bit of a brawl. They were just trading punches. Neither one of them could really figure out what the other was doing. Mm-hmm. I mean, it seemed like coming down the stretch, we were going to watch those last 4 rounds. If we had gotten 9 through 12, I don't know if I would have picked Billy Joe to win, but I'd have been really excited to watch it because I wouldn't have confidently said Canelo was going to win it either, the way that fight was shaping up. So, I mean, for him to have punched him in the eye one time, I mean, that's a testament to his punching power. So, I mean, that was nuts. And the only other time I can really remember hearing of someone having something of that nature happen was when Mike Tyson shattered Galata's jaw. Mm-hmm. Like, he hit him and he quit. He was just like, no. Like, what? But he shattered the man's jaw in the ring.
Right.
I don't think I've heard of anyone else doing that in the ring since then. So, I mean, the punching power is ridiculous, and that speaks even more to the type of fighter Billy Joe is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was out there taking that kind of punishment because he was getting hit. And if he was getting hit like that the whole fight, I don't know how he made 8 rounds. I mean, he was getting bombs dropped on him.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. But, I mean, I think he absolutely, if Billy Joe is able to recover and really get back into, like, just where it's healthy for him to box, I think that Canelo absolutely owes him a rematch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, why not? We just witnessed one of the best fights that we've seen in a long time. 2 huge guys on a big stage. And, it was unfortunate that the injury did come around in the 8th round and, he wasn't able to continue on towards the 9th. But these are 2 guys who are still very, very well in their prime. Like, we know that they are some great boxers. They're going to be back. And speaking about the injury with Billy Joe, like, people were talking about how it seemed like he was soft and, oh, my God, I can't believe that he quit. It was called a quadrupod fracture right here in his face. Basically, that part of your cheek that sticks out was literally pushed in to his face, and they're already talking about potentially his career potentially like being kind of in the balance, what's going to happen and everything, because this is a huge injury that we haven't necessarily seen before. And if it would have continued, his bone literally could have went into his face or eye. He already couldn't see at that point. His corner cares about his future and cares about his career.
Yeah.
You didn't want to see a fight like that get stopped, but you probably want to see BJS box again. I mean, let's just be real, you know?
Yeah, like you don't want to see the man bone sticking out the side of his face.
Right.
Jesus.
Right. I'm right there with you, man. But a rematch, I think everybody would buy. It would probably surpass the first fight just because we know, like,
oh, yeah.
You already know there's people out there saying Canelo got outboxed. Oh, he got saved. But let's be real. He punched him hard enough to make him not be able to fight anymore. That's a solid W for me. But hey, I'm here for Canelo Saunders round 2. I'm here for 3 and 4 if we got it.
That's not being saved at all.
Right.
It's just like
That's delivering that power.
You were in a tough situation and punched your way out of it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, yo, if they do fight again, we're absolutely gonna break that thing down for you and talk about it. But we got less than 1 minute left. So yo, hey, we appreciate y'all as we do every single Wednesday for tuning in to Petty Sports. Y'all know how to find me. It's your boy Famous Feez, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Cash App, all that good stuff. So, man, make sure y'all keep tuning in. Make sure you share the show, like it, tell a friend, learn a little something. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all tuning in tonight. Super packed show. We kicked it off, had some controversial topics. You know, we're going to be back next Wednesday, man. Going to be back next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Appreciate y'all being in the chat room. Don't forget to call in. Follow me everywhere at What Off Season Sports Pod. If you can't find me, Feez, or us, you're not looking. Appreciate y'all tuning in tonight. It was great. We'll see y'all next week.